Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.
Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case.
Dahil he Anglican boys, verbal Latino.
Oh, for crumb's sake.
Is that correct?
Literally not true.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
All right, first try. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. My cameras are funky angles. I've moved everything over the weekend. Sorry, I do that. It's terrible. I'm sorry. We'll get it all fixed eventually. A happy Monday to you. Happy Monday. I'm just looking for, some spare parts. They keep, that'll be nice. I'll use that one later. Oh my goodness. Where do we start? What a day. I realize the day has just begun, right? We're right at the beginning. We're at the top of the morning, right? It's a Mountain Dew morning. It's been a Mountain Dew weekend. All right. So where do we start? Good news. Last post, I shared just my joy at discovering indoor plumbing because I, in fact, do now have a fully functioning toilet on this level of the house. It's been many months, but it's functioning. It doesn't leak. I built it all myself. It's amazing. I assembled the toilet. I did all the plumbing. I did all the screws and the wax seal. You name it. I did the entire thing myself, and it works. And oh my goodness, is it amazing. And it happens to be the best air-conditioned room in the house, so it is a bit chilly. It's a bit chilly. It'll wake you up using that one. It's like, whoo! It's a little cold. And I'm cool with that because the rest of my house is hot. Speaking of hot, you guys have heard my air conditioning complaints as we've had some issues going back. In the last week or so, the guys come out 3 different times. We need to make a call. I hate this call. But we need to make a call back to him and say, remember how last time you came out and you fixed the drain so that the condensation drain would work properly? Well, whatever you fixed shut off the safety shutoff. And it flooded. It didn't drain. It flooded the 20-gallon pan underneath the air conditioner and poured down through our roof and destroyed my son's roof and wall. No! Why can't we just have nice things? I don't know. I don't even know what to do. So we got up there because it wasn't draining. So we got up there with a shop vac and a long hose and sucked, 15 gallons of water out of the tray. So now we can't turn on our AC. It works, but we can't turn it on because it's not draining properly. We've tried to clear the drain line ourselves and everything and got, 2.5 gallons out of the drain line itself. The drain line holds 2.5 gallons. Right before we discovered this whole water issue, we were thinking, hey, everything's great. It's nice and cool upstairs. It's wonderful. I'm like, Mrs. All right, I know it's cool enough for you, but I'm going to go to the store. I had some money set aside. I was thinking either I'm going to buy my kids a Meta Quest, which is like a 3D augmented reality glasses so you can play like video games that, make you seem like you're in it. They want to do this Beat Saber thing where it's like an exercise sword lightsaber game. It's pretty funny to watch them play because they're just waving their arms around. But I was thinking either I buy that or I buy an air conditioner. And I said it's more responsible to get an air conditioner because sometimes, in case something goes wrong. And so I bought a portable air conditioner, a nice one. It's the nice version that our friends loaned to us last time our AC broke. I bought that. I was literally just finishing setting it up when my son said, "Mom, water's pouring from my ceiling." So I'm glad I got that AC because now it's keeping the upstairs cold, or at least cooler. It's not enough to do the whole room. Anyway, that's how my weekend went. So as you can see, yes, I'm going to do the do today because sleep has not been plentiful. It's not been plentiful. Gaming or AC. I chose the AC. I did the adult thing. And so look where that took me. I should have got anyway. All right. It is a great day to be here in court. I can tell you that. I believe we still have the defendant, Raul Valle, his ex-girlfriend on the stand. And let's see. Oh, we're gonna sing in a little bit. I have to do a couple things. I've gotten way up. Greeners is over there saying, "What am I? Chopped liver?" Greeners, there you are. Congratulations, you have won the internet. And Greeners 8675309. I just have to say that I think, sadly, the @ names, the handles might be here to stay. I've seen we were some of the first to complain. But more and more complaints have showed up online as Google is transitioning users on various channels to show up as handles. They're trying to do this to cut down on trolls, especially the type of trolling where people change their name. I'm not looking at you, Adam. I'm just saying people change their name to make it look like they're somebody else who is also in that community, and then chat, and you don't know which one it is. I'm not sure if that, Adam. I'm not saying it's your fault, but YouTube just might have seen that occurring and thought they'd test it on my channel first. They sure didn't warn me about it. But definitely not Adam's screeners. Definitely not Adam. So this might be the new thing all across YouTube, is that everyone would be defaulting to a unique handle. And I believe you can change your handle, but it has to be unique, which means with all the millions and millions and millions of users, you have to act quick if you want a specific one. I need to fix this handle. Yes. And that means I have to relearn everybody's names. And I'm not sure if my brain can handle forming the connection from who you were and who you are now. It's basically, I'm going to just have to forget you all and start anew. And like, hey, I'm Scott. I don't know how to do this. It's like I've complained. Anyway, so it's been one of those weekends, and it's going to be one of those days. But either way, we're here for court, and I'm super excited about it. You can change it now. But you have to change your handle to what you want your name to be. I don't know how often they'll let you change your handle. Just know if you change your handle, somebody might get your old one and you can't change it back. So there's that. A few of you might have connected and built your username like Tumwater Troy and chose a handle that matched their username. So that might be good for you, and you guys aren't affected really. All right, Greeners, my friend, thank you very much for being first in chat. On a day like today, we need somebody who's experienced taking care of the internet, and you, my friend, have that experience. You have been convicted multiple times of this offense. You are, in fact, a repeat offender, a habitual offender when it comes to winning the internet, being first in chat. We're going to sentence you to the usual punishment, which is internet ownership for the rest of the day, or at least until we go live again. So that's it. No spaces allowed. Yeah, and can you do underscores? I don't see a lot of symbols in there either. It's just like letters and numbers, and that's it. And dashes. There's some dashes. So we'll see. Letters, numbers, and dashes. And everyone's got to be unique. But all right, I have not opened this yet. You can see I picked it up like 6 times just subconsciously. I want to drink the Mountain Dew, and I will. I'm going to lose this battle of wills with Mountain Dew, but I'm putting it off to show my willpower. Does that check out? I hope it does. I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. It is wonderful. In fact, with all the complaints I have in life, I really, when I add it up, complaining that it's not cold enough in my house, and that I have to learn a different name for people, I've got things pretty good. I am super, super grateful that life is absolutely amazing. I've got a wonderful family. I've got my health. I've got good friends, and you guys, and you fall in the good friends category as well. Things are good. Things are very, very good. Wait until the first yawn. Don't tempt me because I can already feel it coming on. Anyway, things are absolutely great. I just wanted to share because I do keep you in the loop of what's happening in my life a little bit offline as well. Also, updates for this weekend. We think this trial's going to be done here very soon, but this weekend on Friday, because it's a holiday in the United States. I don't know why England doesn't celebrate this. I know we've got a few people in England, so weigh in chat. That would be great. But the 4th of July, Independence Day, not celebrated in England, but England was just as much a part of this as anybody. I think from one standpoint, you could say good riddance, right? Good riddance. We're tired of the riffraff and all that, and it's good to be rid of you, But we're going to celebrate Independence Day this week on the 4th of July, and my son's going to a camp a ways away, and we're going to go pick him up, and because it's a few hour drive, we're going to go pick him up and be gone on Friday and Saturday. So Friday and Saturday's a day off, and I think Thursday is a holiday. So it's a short week this week. That's all I'm saying. It's a short week. Are you going to try to get out of the podcast? No. I like the podcast. I like it. I really do. All right. What I am trying to do, though, is get prepared for today in court. We're going to need to do a few things. First of all, we have to celebrate any birthdays that may be relevant. And I think we have a couple coming up here very soon. Why doesn't England celebrate the 4th of July? That is a joke. Yes, no, my gosh, the world does not revolve around the U.S. It's very much a joke. Having lived in England for a couple years, I like to joke a little bit that way. And I know that the British have a fantastic sense of humor. That's why their comedy shows are so much better than ours. But yes, it's very much a joke. Not getting out of the podcast. Thursday's my birthday. There you go, Josh. You have to work. You have to work Thursday. All right. Birthday's 4th of July. Could you add me to the day before the shortest week is over? Yes, we can do that. We're going to sing for a lot of people on July 3rd for sure. And then we'll see what happens on the 4th. I don't know. I have to check with Weather Watch before I just announce that we're going to do something. He might be on the road. He might be somewhere else. So I'll check with him first. Lots on July 3rd. That's awesome. P.S. Changing your handle eats your points. I was number 1. Kelly, because we've all changed to this, I think I'm going to reset everybody. Is that fair? Reset everybody. Start over. Now that we think it's working. You guys have been really good with using the points in the morning and not really doing a lot of spamming of the points during court. So I think it's something we can run with. Okay. It's Canada Day tomorrow. Maybe we should sing, "Oh Canada, my home and native land." We could sing that tomorrow. What do you think? Birthday's July 8th. Explain points to the new people. We don't know what points are, but not YouTube, but Lumia Stream, which is an app that I run on top of my YouTube on this end to trigger sound effects and some of the reactions you guys can control in chat. It has a point system where it ranks you based on involvement and attendance. I don't know how it gets attendance other than you have to chat. You have to say something. But it might actually require you to say exclamation point points, which is how you check your points. Anyway, it does count super chats and membership messages, and first chatters get extra points, the first one of the day, and everything else. So I'm going to revamp the pointing system so it's not up in the hundreds of millions of thousands, because you guys, many of you will get there very, very quickly. So I'm going to change it to be something where it's more manageable.
Council wanted to see me at sidebar.
Yes, sidebar to start everything off. Now, I owe a couple people some messages because they've been flying by and I've been just chatting about my dilemmas. First of all, Kelly H. Kelly H _1. I guess you can use an underscore. That's awesome. It's the first one I've seen.
Walmart.
Kelly H gifted a membership first thing in the morning, as we have seen many times. Thank you, Kelly.
You look good.
Evangeline Light, so grateful for this community, the great mods, and our dynamic RA. Thank you. I have to say, over the weekend on Sunday, I was filming a little video, a little children's singing video, and I unplugged everything. And this morning, I was sleeping in till, I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and my wife woke me up and said, just want to remind you that you've got
the order that restrains you from talking to cats.
You've got to set up the studio again before you go live. And I'm like flying out of bed. And I think there's still some things that are broken. Like I don't have, no, that's not going to work. I don't have the super source sizing for the count on the withdrawns and things like that, the right size. I've got some things that I need to reset, but I think most of everything's back. Chem Lady, that's where we were. 9 months today. Good morning from steamy South Carolina. The humidity is nuts. It is nuts. It is nuts. Thank you very much, Chem Lady. Britt Bottoms, member for 17 months. Yes, member of the jury. And Evangeline Light, I forgot to say, OG for you. Thank you very much. 26 months. Shelly Kelly, member for 11 months. Happy working toilet day. Oh my goodness. I've gone and used it when I didn't need to, just because it's that cool. It's like I'm just going to run to the bathroom down here. Not going to run upstairs. I'm going to be down here. Yeah, I've announced that a couple times just because I can. It's too much information for some, but some of you will understand why it's so cool. Chris Wallace, I've been on vacation, but I'm back. Missed you all. 2 years. Yay! 2 years, 24 months. Look at that brand new pink courthouse, Chris. OG. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Posty7, member for 30. That's our first 30. That's our first 30-month membership mark. So definitely I would have to say OG. If you can tell, this is 7. The OG, but also revealed Posty for me about me and Postman. You get me through the day. Thank you, dude. Hey, Posty7, I love that we have a mailman in chat, because you'd be surprised how many times cases come up where mail and mail delivery and mailman, might be mentioned. And it's always nice to know that we have somebody who can give us the inside scoop on what's happening, especially if I have a package that's missing or something. Roman Adicii. Is that even close? Adekiki? I don't even know. I heard your AC woes. I understand our AC quit June 13th and won't be fixed until maybe this weekend during the hottest weeks in Ohio. Yay! Oh my goodness. Roman AD. I don't know how to say your last name. Spell it out with a crayon so I can learn it. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I feel your pain and your sweat. Yankees 125, member for 10 months. Love this community so much. Thank you, Yankees. Thank you very much. Love to have you here. It wouldn't be the same without you. Dilly Pickles OG, member for 29 months. You got this. Oh, we do. Look how good I've been. I'm afraid that I hold off too long, it's going to be warm. So it was in the fridge. Now it's sort of slowly warming. GPet711, the Goog changed my name from Gail Pet. I hope I'm still recognizable. That's close enough. I think I can make the jump. Another OG member, 29 months, member of the gallery. Dilly Pickles, also 29 months. Another OG. Both of you, thank you very much. Kelly, member for 23 months. Welcome to the gallery. 1 month away from 24. Moving closer to 24 months. OG wouldn't want to watch court any other way. Thank you very much, Kelly. We wouldn't want to watch court without you either. Sloth Life gifted a membership. Thank you, Sloth Life. How's the other side of the pond doing? Kim R sent a super chat. It won't let me have my dolphins. Kim, you shared that with us last week as well, and I feel your pain. A couple of you have dolphins and butterflies and things that were just part of your name. It was who you were, and YouTube it's just, yeah, cold turkey. Kathy Mama Bear, member for 13 months of the jury. Hey, 13 months. Paid and forever and had a day listening. Love to you all. Thank you much, Mama Bear. I appreciate that. Appreciate your support. Thank you as well for being a member of the jury. That added support really does help, and it means the world to my family and myself. Let's see. Melissa Laurie, 3051. Good morning. Love this channel. 9 months. Melissa, you could have a baby. No, just kidding. 9 months. That's a long time. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Welcome. Ivy Berlin, member for 15 months, says, thanks for having me and all the gifted memberships. Still looking for a job. As soon as money comes in, I'll get a puffed seat in the front row. Puffered seat. One of those nice padded ones. Ivy Berlin, thank you so much. I love the generosity of this channel as well. Love to see you catching the gifted memberships. All right. Mackenzie Jabs, I'm sorry, says, Jabs, are you a nurse, Mackenzie? Do you like poke people with a needle? I'm just curious. AC problems here in Chattanooga too. Won't be fixed until Wednesday. See, I don't have anything to complain about. I literally have 2 fully functioning AC systems in my house, and I was complaining because one of them is a third one is leaking a little bit. I mean, I'm living the good life. A lot of people have never felt AC. Camilla Juliana G, a member for 9 months. Welcome to the gallery. For first full trial here was Ashley Benefield. That's going way back. Roman ADCC, I changed it for you, but it changed back. Okay. Roman ADCC. Okay. I can remember that. I just have to ADCC. That's just what I have to. It'll stick in my head if I say it enough. Thank you very much for the explanation on the pronunciation. Cheryl B, pickle lover, member for 21 months. Love that you're a pickle lover as well. Watching for court, nothing happening yet, so we'll get there as soon as it happens. Back from my beach vacay, and I'm 21 months. OG, you're rapidly approaching a new color of courthouse as well. Momoa 9_92, member for 10 months. Happy 4th week, everybody. It's going to be awesome. The 4th of July is probably the biggest holiday, vacation-wise, in the United States. It's celebrated by fireworks, which is great unless you're a pet. But pretty much anywhere you go, you can watch a firework display in the evening. But do be mindful of pets this weekend as well. Okay, I just cracked it open. I can't wait any longer. I need it cold.
Happy birthday. You look good.
I was kicked back, taking it
Oh, that is so good. That is so good.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
That's really good, guys. Where have you been all my life? Fun note. Don't share a lot about church with y'all, but yesterday a guy was talking in my church, and he happens to be a lawyer. This is his real job. And he was talking about jurisdiction. I'm like, I almost wanted to do the objection, subject matter jurisdiction. It was funny. I just chuckled inside a little bit when he was talking about jurisdiction. Let's see. I think that's everything. Are we ready to sing for some birthdays? Are we there yet? I missed a buffer somewhere, so there it is, Josh. On it, like Blue Bonnet. Can we get an amen? Objection? Yeah. That's funny. Little subject matter jurisdiction. All right, so we have Alita Lay, Funkarella 5, Freya, Mia, and Lindsay Ann 111. I'm going to drop the numbers if that's okay. I mean, a couple of you, I know the numbers are important, like Greeners 8675309. I'm going to keep that one, but I know some of the numbers are just extras. Whoa, hang on. Woody Cincy says, my house got struck by lightning at 1 a.m. and knocked out several sections of my house. This is the second time my house has been hit. Bad day. Woody, move. Third time unlucky. You don't want to... Second time your house has been hit by lightning? Do you have like a large antenna, grounded antenna in like the center of your house or something, or a turret? Are you on top of a hill and everyone else is like down in a valley? That is terrible. First of all, I'm glad you're safe. It's terrible that you got hit. I know that lightning just melts things. It melts things. The electrical systems are destroyed when lightning's involved. Gladly, it sounds like it didn't burn, which is good, but wow. Okay. We're going back to the birthdays, though. Hang on. Let me have one more little sip. Just came in starting the day with a Mountain Dew. You need to rewind. And my day started like Friday evening, and it just got worse and worse. All right, let's get ready for the birthdays. Make sure I don't burp during the birthday song. That was a lot of Mountain Dew. Okay. We're going to sing to Alita Lay, Funkarella, Freya, Mia, and Lindsay Ann celebrating their birthday today. I don't think I saw any other additionals. Hey, Barb Russell, welcome. I see you. I just have to keep the birthday things up on the screen. I think that's it. I didn't see any extras. So if you do, make some noise right now. Okay, it's going to go like this. Everyone, take a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbors, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to sing happy birthday here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Alita Lay, Funkarella, Freya, Mia, and Lindsay Ann. Happy birthday to you. Alita Lay, Funkarella, Freya, Mia, and Lindsay Ann. Happy birthday. There are many wonderful days. Today is your special day. I realize there are a million places you could be, a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor, the joy is ours. Hopefully, we can return some of that joy back to you, make your day a little more specialer. Begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlap's house, and Bob Evans. And Andy's Grill. I think I said McDonald's twice. I would only get one stack at McDonald's. They're not that good there. Not that McDonald's don't sue me. It's just like you're more of a quantity pancakes instead of a quality pancakes. So there's some other. Go to somewhere that specializes in flapjacks. That's what I recommend. McDonald's in a pinch, but not bad. Just the joy is ours. It most definitely is. Happy birthday! Thank you very much for celebrating with us. Court, you keep managing to miss the birthday song. The wonder of rewinding will help, and then you'll make it. 80s, I see you there. Welcome. Lois, hello. Alrighty. All the dancers are doing their thing. There's might be some twerking going on. Drum solo for the big finish. Everyone get ready and help me out with the drums. Finish the celebration in style. Of course, the party won't stop. Beautiful. All right. What happened in the first 25 minutes that delayed the birthday song? Jennifer's like, I was trying to skip it, and now here I am, and you're still singing. No, just kidding. I was complaining, really. It was just Monday, and I just took the opportunity to whinge and moan and complain about little things that don't really matter, like flooding from the ceiling, and now I have to repair plaster walls. I had already painted my son's bedroom. I'd repainted the room, and we used a latex interior paint to paint the wall. And I do a good coat. The problem with latex is basically you're making the room into like a balloon. You're painting the balloon on the wall, and so there's a whole layer. And so when water floods in the wall, it just fills up the balloon. And literally, we had just pouches of water hanging on the wall because the plaster is cement. Okay, it doesn't ruin the plaster. It's not like drywall. So it's like cement with a balloon attached to it, full of water. And so after we had stopped the water from draining more into his room. Now the burps come. We had to go with a little razor blade and like pop the bubbles to drain the water out of the wall. It was a rough day. Oh man. All right. Let me just say, the next house I buy is going to be made in this century. I'm 1915. It looks cool. It's awesome. The quality of craftsmanship was right up there for the time period. It's amazing what they did with some hand tools. But I'm done with this. I'm so done with this house. Oh man, I love it. All right. Why does my name look different? Something added to it. For those that are just noticing, for you're coming in this morning and looking at your name and saying, why does it have an @ symbol at the beginning and a bunch of stuff at the end? YouTube assigns every user on the platform a handle. The handle starts with an @ symbol. It has some version of your username as you initially registered it with YouTube. And then if that name was that you chose was used by another user on YouTube, it added random letters and numbers at the end of it to usually numbers to make a unique handle. So everyone has a unique handle. And in YouTube's infinite wisdom, last week they decided to switch everyone from their preferred screen name, but you'd think that if you have a preferred screen name, that's what you want to have shown. They decided to just show your handle instead. And so everyone is now seeing the handle you've had. It's been associated to your account the whole time you've had it. There is a way to change the handle name as long as nobody else has the one you're trying to change to. It has to be unique for like over the whole world. If it didn't change, you probably set it up identical with your user account when you first changed your, like mine didn't change. I set up mine to be Recovery Addict, and so my handle is Recovery Addict. But that's what's happening, and YouTube just did it. All right. Baby Shark says, mine just turned me back into a baby. Was Sharkay? Now it's Baby Sharkay. Just commenting to see what mine is. Yes, everyone do a test, and you can see what your handle is. Not all channels have switched last night. Yes, it's per channel, and the way it works, this is a little confusing because some people say it's not doing it on, you might be on like Law and Crime or Court TV or Rob Lawn Lumber with Ian Runkle, and you're saying it's not doing it over there. When you go live as a content creator, your live stream is hosted on a particular server, and that server, how it's configured, determines what chat looks like. And so I might be on a server that has been updated to the handles, and somebody else might go live on one of the other servers that is not updated yet. So it's also possible in this time that I happen to get an old server, and so it's like, yay, it's back, but it's just we're on an old server that hasn't been updated yet. So it should be a little transition if they decide to keep it. We'll see. Fixed Mind didn't like what YouTube did. Yeah, it's frustrating. They've got a lot of complaints online. They haven't addressed it yet. But all right, we have a little bit of time. I don't know how much. We're waiting for court to begin, and we hope that it will. Let's see, just 1 second here. It's supposed to start any second now. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's bring some audio in from court and get that going. You can all see in here. Good. I'll adjust the audio a little bit as we get started. It might be a little off. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything matched up here. There we go. All right. Now we're cooking with fire. We're ready. All right, a couple more messages while we wait for court to start, which will happen and probably interrupt me here, but let me go back and share a few of them here. Momoa, we got you. Happy 4th week, everyone. Thank you. Sloth Life says, no food talk today at all. I'm not allowed to eat anything today or until after 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'm starving. Sloth Life, I am sorry. I will try, but you happen to know this is one of my weaknesses. I've already been talking about my Mountain Dew, and I'll try not to do that because frankly, it's gone. I have one more, though. My new cat, Trixie Biscuits, is loving being a paw nerd, but not thrilled about the fireworks. Trixie Biscuits, that's a great name for a cat. I dreamt about my cat last night. It's quite a vivid dream about my cat. Mostly, I dreamt that I was petting it, and it didn't claw me, which really stood out from reality. But Woody, sending my love on my late mother's behalf. She left us in November. She loved your channel, so this is for her. Woody, thank you very much. I'm so sorry about her passing, but thank you for sharing that with us. Hopefully we brought her some joy and some light, and I appreciate you being here and sharing that. That is really neat. That's special. I keep missing the explanation about the points. Do we win something? Virginia, I don't know yet. I don't know if we can ever turn it into something that actually works. I was thinking that maybe the point system would allow me to have maybe some like special sound effects that can only be purchased with points. Does that make sense? So you could, like if there's a really fun sound effect, but we don't want to play it a lot, you'd have to earn some points in order to be able to use it, and then would spend points to use that sound effect. Like anyone that insults me, like, why not send somebody with more experience? That's definitely one you'd have to pay. That one as well. Shame on me. That's a pay one as well. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I haven't seen where I can set up the spending part of it yet. I will, though, this morning. I am going to go in and I'll do it right now. I'm gonna reset everybody's points. And please don't hate me for this, but it's the only thing I can do to try to make it even. And loyalty points, users, reset all loyalty users. Resetting is irreversible. All your loyalty points will be lost. Are you sure you want to continue? And then you can either cancel or reset. And I said reset. Everybody's gone. I didn't know it was going to delete everybody. Well, it's broken now. Okay, so you might want to hurry and type exclamation point points or something like that. The first person who chats today might get a bunch of points. I don't know how that's going to work, but I didn't change the system. Oh, we've got court beginning. No audio yet.
Okay, so you all may be seated. Thank you.
Shame on you, sir.
So before I do bring the jury in, the court has been made aware of a situation that occurred allegedly on Friday afternoon here in the courthouse property or on the courthouse property subsequent to the end of the day. I want to be clear that this court will not tolerate any disruptive behavior towards court staff, jury, parties, the witnesses, or any of the attorneys involved.
Share the details.
If I am made aware of such behavior, it is investigated and the court believes it to be necessary in the interest of maintaining safety, security, and fairness to these proceedings. The court will have any such person removed from the trial immediately and precluded from attending the remainder of the trial proceedings. So I just want to make sure that the court's clear on that. Thank you. All right, at this point in time, we'll bring our jury in.
Now we need the details. I'm revamping the point system. I'll reset it as soon as I'm done.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, hear ye. That sounds really close. Waiting for the jury here right now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Welcome back today. Thank you. So we are ready to continue. You'll recall that the state did have a witness on the stand when we adjourned last week. We are going to ask for that witness to please retake the stand, and we'll continue on with cross-examination. Thank you. Counsel, please stipulate to the presence of the jury before you begin.
Say will stipulate, Your Honor. Defense stipulates, Your Honor.
You may be seated. I just want to remind you that you do remain under the obligation to do it. Thank you. Attorney Smith?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm resetting one more time on the points because we've got the system revamped. So, starting.
Good morning,
right
Ms. Cavella. Well, you and I have never met before. Is that true?
Sure.
And I'll just remind you, if you can keep your voice up, you have to compete with the lab fan. And then the court reporter needs you to say either yes or no. She can't get a head nod or things like that, okay? So you talked to us a little bit on Friday, and I want to ask you a few questions about that, okay? I'm going to use some of the same exhibits that you've seen so far, and I may use some exhibits that you haven't seen so far.
You may thank you.
I am going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 1.
So this is cross-examination.
Just reorient us if you would quickly. Do you see the red mark on the exhibit behind you?
Yes.
And whose house is that?
Tyler Rich's.
Okay. And you were at Tyler Rich's house on May 14th, correct? And you were there with, well, you drove yourself, you told us, right? But you met up there with your boyfriend, Matthew Lockovich, at the time.
Yes.
Okay. And you told us that you'd been to this house previously, right?
Yes.
In fact, you'd been to this house many times previously, right?
A handful of times, yeah.
A handful of times. Okay. Well, you told us that you had grown up essentially when you were younger, and were friends with this group of kids that were at Tyler Rich's house, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you told us that there were about 20 to 25 people that were there when you got there?
Yeah.
And you described what a number of witnesses have described, which is going into the house through the side and what are Bilco doors, right?
Yes.
And just in case there's anybody like me who didn't know what those were before, will you tell us what a Bilco door is?
They're just doors like slanted. You open them and there's stairs that go downstairs.
Gotcha. So they're not umbilical doors, right?
No.
They're not Belco doors, right?
No.
They're Bilco doors because that's the name of the manufacturer that makes them?
I'm not sure about the manufacturer, but.
Okay, but you know them as Bilco doors.
Yeah.
And they led down into the basement, right?
Yeah.
And when you got down there into the basement, you told us there was maybe 20 to 25 people there, right?
Yes.
And among those folks that were there were your boyfriend, Matthew Lockovich, right?
Yes.
Tyler Rich, the owner of the house,
yes.
right? Enrico or Ricky Fiola, right?
Yes.
How did you know Ricky Fiola?
We're in the same friend group.
Okay. Did he also attend the same high school as you?
Yes.
Was he in your grade?
Yes.
And you were a junior at this time, correct?
Rising senior, yes.
Okay. So you graduated the following year.
Yes.
And you also told us that you saw Faison Teal there.
Yes.
And there was a Lily, but I didn't catch her last name. What was
Lily
it?
Lombardi.
Lombardi. And how did you know Lily?
I grew up with her.
And you told us that you also saw Jimmy McGrath there, right?
Yes.
And that he was a friend of yours from when you were younger, right?
Yes.
That your parents were friends and you were also friends with his sister, Rosie.
Yes.
And so you'd known them from being a young child.
Yes.
You didn't go to school with him anymore because he was going to Fairfield Prep.
Correct.
And you identified a picture of him over at Nikki DeJesus's house, right?
Yes.
He was playing pool.
Yeah.
And he was wearing the same outfit that he was wearing later on that evening at this party at Tyler Rich's, right? And you told us that there was drinking going on at Tyler Rich's house, correct?
Correct.
And that you had had maybe one beer or seltzer, right?
Correct.
And you said that was nothing out of the ordinary, but there were maybe more people there than usual, right?
Correct.
And you noted that they were mostly older kids?
Yeah. I'm a year below them, and Tyler Rich is a year above me, so it was majority his friends and maybe a year above him as well.
Okay. So there were some seniors there?
Correct.
And there were some kids that had already graduated, correct?
Correct.
And that was the majority of the kids that were there?
Correct.
And these were all kids, for the most part, that were on the Shelton High football team?
Yeah, I would say.
Did you also play any sports at
I played softball for 2 years in high school.
Okay. But this wasn't a Shelton High softball party?
No.
And then you said a little bit later you saw two other people, Griffin Marcinzik and Ryan Hines, right? And how did you know Griffin Marcinzik?
We went to high school together. I would hang out with him on occasion.
And he was a younger kid, right? And then you also told us that you saw Ryan Hines, right?
Yeah.
And he was also a younger kid, right?
Yeah.
And you told us that they had been brought there by Charlie Connery, right?
Yeah.
And that he had left the party, in fact, to go and pick them up, right?
Yeah, that I'm aware of.
After people downstairs were talking about a fight that had occurred previously, right? And as far as you knew, that's why they were coming over there, right?
Yeah.
And then you told us that at some point you had gone outside because it was hot downstairs in the basement.
Correct.
And then you were already outside, you said, with Matthew Lokovich and some others. Do you remember who those others were?
I don't. It was just group outside.
Okay. And this group, were there any other girls in this group?
I'm not sure who exactly. I just know there were people outside.
Do you remember how many people were outside?
Not many. I'd say like maybe 6 people outside.
Okay. I'm going to show you another exhibit. May I approach you?
Yes. Thank you.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State 52. Now, on States 52, can you point out to us where you were using that pointer that's beside you when you were outside and it was hot and you were with these 6 other folks?
So I was standing in front of the door, the cellar doors at that point.
Okay, so we can't see it on this, correct? And outside that evening, it was dark, you told us?
Yeah.
There were some lights on the house?
Yeah.
There were also some folks not at this point, withdrawn.
A rare defense withdrawn.
It was rainy that night?
I don't remember the weather.
Do you recall any misting, any sort of drizzle or anything like that?
Don't.
Okay. And when you were out there, you told us that you saw a car drive by, right?
Yeah.
What was that car doing when you saw it drive by?
It was just driving down the street at that point.
Was it driving past you on Laurel Glen Drive, or did it drive past you up Adams?
Down Laurel Glen Drive.
Okay. So it came by Laurel Glen Drive, didn't do anything. Did you watch it go further down the street?
I just watched it drive by.
Okay. Did any of the people that you were with seem to notice that car come?
I think so.
And what did they do when they noticed that car go by?
I think people just went to the front.
They moved up to the front of the lawn?
There were people in the front, and then some of the people that were near me were walking towards the front.
Okay. So the group moved closer to the road at that point?
Yeah.
Following this car?
Not following the car, moving to the front yard.
And you said that Ricky Fiola and Tyler Rich went up to the front of the yard, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember anybody else who went up to the front of the yard?
I don't.
Did Matthew Lokovich go up to the front of the yard?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
And you said that, and so at some point, did the car come back?
Yeah.
And when it came back, which way was it facing?
It was facing towards, I think it's.
Would it help you if I?
Farmhouse, I believe. Is that the street
Farmhouse?
at the end?
Would it help if I showed you the other exhibit? So let's orient ourselves. You've described the car coming by and going down Laurel Glen towards Farmhouse,
Yes.
right? And now you say the car came back at some point.
Correct.
Okay. When it came back, which way was it facing?
Towards Farmhouse.
So it came back from Farmhouse and then it was facing towards Farmhouse?
Yeah, I don't know if they turned around or went around the sort like. If you go down Farmhouse and go down the other street back on Adams, it'll make it like a square. So I don't know if they turned around or what they did. But yeah.
Did you see them coming back from Farmhouse up Laurel Glen?
No, they came from Adams and went down. Or I'm assuming that's what they did because when they came to Laurel Glen, they went down the street towards Farmhouse again.
Okay. And you say that they came to a stop in front of the house?
Yeah.
I'm going to put the other exhibit back up there. And at this point, you said that the Honda Pilot stopped, right?
Yeah.
And when it pulled up, where was it located?
I'd say like right here.
Right there by the curb?
Yeah.
Not across the street?
No.
Not by the mailbox? And were you still standing back by the Bilco doors?
I had walked up a little more at that point.
Where were you standing at that point?
Right here.
Okay. Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has pointed to the shaded area by the tree line and the rear driver's side of the black truck that's parked in the driveway on the exhibit.
I'll allow the record to reflect that information. Thank you.
And at that point, were other people coming out of the house?
Coming out of the house, I'm not sure. It was the people that were outside that I saw previously.
Do you remember whether any other people came out of the house?
I don't remember.
Did anybody pass you?
Yeah, I think a couple people maybe.
Okay. And did those people appear to be coming from behind you?
Yeah.
And behind you at this point is where the house was, correct?
Right.
And a few people, you say. How many people do you recall passing?
3 maybe.
Just 3?
Yeah.
And could you see Matthew Lokovich at that point?
He was standing with me, yeah.
He was standing beside you? What was he doing?
The same thing I was doing, standing there.
And was he saying anything?
I think we were just watching.
Okay. And you're both standing in that same area?
Yeah.
And do you recall anybody else that was standing with you and Matthew Lokovich?
No, I don't.
Do you recall seeing Jimmy McGrath at that point?
I think he was inside at that point.
So you don't recall seeing him?
No.
Do you recall seeing Tyler Rich?
Yeah.
Where was he?
In the front yard.
In the front yard by the curb?
Yeah.
Had he approached the car?
No, so he was probably like where that green tree is.
Okay.
This tree.
Okay. Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has pointed to the sole green tree directly in the middle of the exhibit.
We'll allow the record to reflect that.
And who else was with Tyler Rich at that point?
I think it was just Ricky. I didn't see anyone else.
Just Tyler and Ricky?
Yeah.
So just 2 of them in that spot?
That I remember, yeah.
Was anybody else there?
I think there was other people around, but I don't remember who exactly.
And how many other people do you think were there?
I really don't remember.
Okay. Did you see Face on Teal?
No, not at that point.
Did you see Tommy Connery?
No.
Did you see Mike Samperi?
No.
Did you see Sal Perry?
I don't remember. I really don't remember who was at the car.
Did you see Jacob Villalobos?
Not at that point, no.
Did you see Nikki DeJesus?
Not at that point, no.
Did you see Ty Wood?
No, not at that point.
Did you see Tanner Chernowski?
Not at that point.
And so you've got yourself and Matthew Lokovich standing. At this point, you remained in that same spot?
Yeah.
Did you ever move from that spot?
To go back inside.
Did you ever get any closer to the vehicle?
No.
Did Matthew Lokovich ever get any closer to the vehicle?
I don't think so.
Did you see Ryan Hines?
No, not at that point.
Did you see Griffin Marcinzik?
Not at that point.
And so you've said that you saw just Tyler Rich and Ricky Fiola approaching the vehicle.
That I remember, yes.
Okay. And what did they do as they approached the vehicle?
I don't remember them approaching the vehicle. I remember being them in the front yard walking towards the car.
That's
and a bunch of other
approaching the
people
vehicle.
were in the front. Or I wouldn't say a bunch, but a couple people were in the front. And when they were getting closer to the car is when I went inside.
Okay. Did you ever at any point hear them getting loud?
No.
Did you hear any banging?
No, I heard things being thrown from both sides, but then I went inside.
You say you heard things being thrown from both sides.
Yeah.
How could you hear something being thrown from both sides?
You can hear, I'd say a can, like hitting the ground, like the driveway, you could hear it hitting. You can hear something hit the car.
Okay. But you didn't hear any yelling or anything aggressive before that?
I don't remember exactly if they were yelling or not, but I just remember things being thrown.
I think they were yelling if they were throwing
So
things.
you heard things getting thrown. Did you see anybody surround the car?
Mm.
Was Matthew Lokovich beside you the whole time?
No.
Where did he go?
I think he stayed outside. I went inside.
And so by the time you went inside, you hadn't heard any yelling.
No, not that I remember.
You hadn't heard any screaming.
No.
You hadn't heard any curses.
No.
You hadn't heard any threats being made.
No.
You didn't see anybody touch the car.
No.
You didn't see anybody other than Tyler Rich and Ricky Fiola near the car.
Correct.
But they weren't touching the car.
No.
You didn't see them throw anything at the car.
No.
You didn't see anybody get out of the car.
No.
And so then you turned around and went back inside.
Correct.
And who was inside when you went back inside?
Then I was with my friend Lily, Makila Holton. Jimmy was down there. Izzy Silvis. I was just standing with those girls.
Before you went back inside, I think you told us on Friday that that you could see flashlights.
Yeah.
And when you say flashlights, do you mean on a phone? So you could see people with their phones already out and their flashlights on?
You could see lights, so I was assuming it was coming from their phones, yes.
And how many did you see?
A couple.
A couple.
That means a couple people filmed this. And nobody owns up to it. Or they all deleted it.
You said that at some point you became aware that people were going back outside.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you become aware that people were going back outside?
I saw people going outside and then people were talking about it.
Let's break that down a little bit. When you went back inside, did you go sit down somewhere?
I think I just stood right by the door, the stairs to go outside.
At the bottom of the stairs? Do you remember anybody that was down there at the bottom of the stairs with you?
At that point, Jimmy was down there.
Jimmy was down there at the bottom of the stairs with you?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I was just talking to him, so I didn't really check around who was around me.
And you said you became aware because people started going back outside. They were passing you to get up the stairs. How many people went past you?
I'm not sure.
Were you the last one to go back outside?
No, I think there were people behind me.
Did everybody empty out of the basement?
No,
How do you know that?
because when I was leaving, there were still people down there.
How do you know that they didn't come out after you?
I mean, they could have.
So you're not sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did Jimmy go back outside with you?
I don't know.
So you're talking to him down at the bottom of the stairs, and you don't know whether or not he went back outside.
This happened 3 years ago.
And you said
2022.
when you went back outside that people started walking up the street towards Farmhouse Lane.
Greeners, we love you.
And did you see a vehicle down there?
Yeah,
What vehicle did you understand that to be?
there was the Honda Pilot.
And the Honda Pilot, that's the car that had pulled up before, correct? Had you seen who was inside the vehicle at that point?
No.
And you said that people started walking up the street, right?
Yeah.
Did you see anybody running up the street?
No.
Did you hear anybody yelling as they were going down the street? Did you see anybody throwing anything as they were going down the street?
No.
How many people did you see going down the street?
They were already like down towards Farmhouse by the time I started walking outside. So there were people just standing up there, and then there were people sitting on the curb. There were a couple people sitting on the curb.
Okay. And you said that of these people that were walking up the street, one of them that you identified for us was Tyler Rich, right?
Yeah.
Matthew Lokovich.
Yeah.
Ricky Fiola.
Yeah.
Did you see Ryan Hines go up the street?
No.
Did you see Griffin Marcinsic go up the street?
No.
Did you see Jimmy McGrath go up the street?
No.
Did you see Jimmy McGrath when you were outside?
No.
Did you see Michael Samperi go up the street?
No.
Jacob Villalobos?
No.
The only three people that you can identify who walked up the street were Tyler Rich, Matthew Lokovich, and Ricky Fiola.
Yes.
Did you see Faison Teal at that point?
No.
And you told us you didn't hear any screaming?
No.
Didn't hear any yelling? Didn't see or hear anything being thrown?
No.
And you said that you yourself walked up the street at that point, right?
Correct.
And about a quarter of the way down towards Laurel Glen Drive, right?
Towards Farmhouse.
Towards Farmhouse, on Laurel Glen
Yep.
Drive.
Yep.
And was anybody else walking with you?
No.
She didn't see anything any of the people in the house did?
And you said at that point you could see a car parked about 3/4 of the way down Laurel Glen Drive towards Farmhouse.
Yes.
And you said you saw some people standing there, correct?
Yeah.
Could you identify who those people were?
No, I was far back.
You didn't see anyone running after the vehicle?
No.
And you watched exhibit number 44. That was the ring video from across the street. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But you told us that you didn't see anything that had shown.
No.
You told us you spent about 30 seconds down the street, correct?
I'd say a couple seconds. Definitely not 30 seconds.
Okay. A couple seconds. You spent a couple seconds down the street. Were you with anybody during that time?
No.
Just by yourself?
Yep.
And then you turned around and went back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
And you said when you went back inside, everyone was in the basement?
Right.
But not Ricky Fiola?
Correct. So not everybody.
Not Tyler Rich? Not Matthew Lokovich?
Correct.
Was Jimmy McGrath in the basement?
Yeah.
Was Ryan Hines in the basement?
I don't know.
Griffin Marcinsic?
I'm not sure.
Faison Teal?
I believe Faison was in there.
Where did you see Faison?
I think he was on the couch, if I'm not mistaken.
Who was sitting with him on the couch?
I don't remember.
Did you see Tommy Connery?
I don't remember.
Charlie Connery?
I don't remember.
Jacob Villalobos?
I'm not sure.
Alex Bernson?
No, I didn't see him.
Tyler Chernowski?
Who?
Tyler Chernowski?
Tanner Chernowski?
Tanner Chernowski.
I'm not sure.
You said Ricky Fiola and Tyler Rich, those are Matthew Lokovich's friends, right?
Correct.
And you did tell us that also in the basement was Lily Lombardi.
Yep.
Izzy Silvas?
Yep.
And Michaela Holton, right?
Yes.
So you do remember that they were there as well?
Yeah.
And you're certain that Jimmy McGrath was down there?
Yeah.
Something seems off. I'm not
So
sure
you
what
told
it
us
is.
you thought something bad was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
That everyone was going on about it, right?
I wouldn't say going on about it, but there was discussion about it.
Well, how would you describe that discussion about it?
Just talking, just like
calmly, like you and I are?
Yeah.
Just talking about what had happened out front?
Correct.
And how were they describing what had happened out front?
I don't remember exactly what they were saying.
Did you hear any talk about wanting to fight the kids?
No.
Did you hear any talk about wanting payback?
No.
But you thought something bad was going to happen?
Yeah.
And you told us that you talked to Matthew Lockovich and Jimmy McGrath to stay out of it.
Correct.
So at some point, Matthew Lockovich came back inside?
Correct.
So now he's down in the basement too?
Correct.
When did he come back to the basement?
I'm not sure.
You told us you knew that Jimmy McGrath wouldn't get involved.
Yeah.
But Matthew Lockovich, if his friends were involved, he wouldn't just stand by.
Correct.
Were Matthew and Jimmy talking calmly about it as well?
They weren't even talking about it.
They weren't even talking about it. And then you told us that you walked back out the Bilko doors.
Correct.
How many other people went out with you when you went out the Bilko doors?
I'm not sure how many people.
And did everybody go out in a group?
I feel like everyone went out in parts. There wasn't just a whole group walking up there.
Did they all casually walk out?
Yeah.
Nobody was running to get outside?
Not that I saw.
And then you described going out back into the front yard after you'd walked through the Bilko doors. When you came back out, now this is the second time you've gone out into the front yard, right?
No, this would be the third time I went outside.
Okay. This is the third time that you went out into the front yard. Where did you stand this time? Could you show us on the exhibit?
I'd say right over here.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has pointed to the front of the black truck that is parked in the driveway in between the black truck and the red bush that is parallel to it.
The record is so reflect. Thank you.
The red bush is parallel to the truck?
You're standing there. Who do you see in front of you?
Directly in front of me?
Yes.
That would be Jimmy and Charlie at that point.
Can you point out where they are on the exhibit?
Right over here.
Okay. So they're not directly in front of you. I'm sorry? Diagonal from you. How many feet away were they standing?
Maybe from me to, I'd say if the TV was a little farther back and I was standing a little farther back.
Okay, so would you say from the wall behind you
to
the TV?
Yep.
Okay. And so you could see Jimmy, and who was standing beside Jimmy?
Charlie Connery.
They were standing side by side?
Yep.
Who else could you identify as being there?
Matlock.
Where was Matlock standing?
He was moving around, so towards the end he was near Jimmy.
And when we say Matlock, we're not talking
Matthew
about not the attorney played by Andy Griffith.
No, I'm not aware of who that is.
You don't know who that is?
I have no idea.
I don't know who Matlock is.
All right, so you say Matt was moving around.
Yeah.
When you first got outside, where was Matt?
I'm not sure.
You couldn't see him?
No.
Was there anybody that was up there by the red bush and the tree line where the shade is, where you had been earlier?
Near the truck, is that what you're talking about?
Right, when you described having been out there earlier.
I'm not sure if anyone was standing up there.
You didn't see anybody up there?
No, not that I know.
Everybody was down closer to the front part of the grass at that point?
Yeah, some people were in the driveway. maybe some people could have been back there, but I wasn't turning around to look.
Did you see Ryan Hines anywhere?
No.
Did you see Faison Teal?
At the end, I saw Faison.
Did you see him when you first came out? No. And you've described that Jimmy McGrath and Charlie Connery were up closer to the curb.
Yeah.
Did you see the vehicle, the Honda Pilot that you had described before? Where was that?
Parked. I would say like right here, maybe.
Now, there were, may the record reflect, Your Honor, that the witnesses pointed on the exhibit to an area beside the mailbox.
Court will go ahead and reflect that on the record. Thank you.
And there were other cars parked in the road too, right?
Yeah.
Both sides of the road?
Yes.
Do you recall whether or not it was raining or misty at this point?
I don't.
Did you see people with their phones out and the lights on?
Yes.
And
she's answering quickly, which I like.
Were there just Jimmy and Charlie standing in the front of the yard?
I think there was more people, but I don't remember who exactly.
Did you see Tyler Rich?
Yes.
Where was he?
I think he was closer to the, like near the red bush, but towards the center a little bit.
Okay.
I'd say like.
Is she remembering everybody that was seen in the video?
Over here, but this tree wasn't here, so I'd say like people.
Close to Jimmy
that tree
and Charlie?
Was not there.
No.
I think she's remembering the video.
And you told us that you saw Tyler DeSilva get out of the vehicle?
I didn't see them get out of the vehicle.
You didn't see them get out of the vehicle?
When I had walked up, the fight was already going on.
Okay. You told us on Friday, though, that you'd seen them run up onto the grass.
I would assume that they ran up onto the grass.
Oh.
I did not see that.
You didn't see them run up onto the grass. So when you came out, the fight was already going on?
Yeah.
And who was fighting at that point?
Tyler DeSilva and Lido and Tyler Rich, or maybe Alex Bernstein, I'm not sure.
You've seen a video of this fight, correct?
Yeah.
And how many times have you seen that video?
A couple times.
Just a couple?
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw that video?
The last time I spoke with the state attorney, so when was that? I'm not sure exactly what date that was. It'd be a couple weeks ago.
In anticipation of coming in here to testify? Yeah. So when you say you would assume that they ran up onto the grass, that's not something that you actually saw. You don't know if these two people walked up onto the grass or not?
Correct.
But you did tell us that at one point, Tyler DeSilva was by the red bush.
Correct.
And that Mr. Valle was behind him and closer to the road.
Correct.
You said a bunch of you were just standing there watching, right?
Correct.
Who was just standing there watching?
Me, Michaela Holton, or that I'm aware of. Everyone was kind of just standing around, so I'm not sure.
You said by the end that Matt Lokovich was standing by Jimmy.
Correct.
Do you recall, was Matt wearing a shirt?
No, he wasn't.
Do you recall when he took that shirt off?
I don't know.
Had he had it on earlier when you were standing outside with him?
Yeah, I believe so.
You told us on Friday that Alex Bernstein at this point was near Tyler DeSilva, but you weren't quite sure about that?
Correct.
And you described it as being a chaotic scene, right?
Correct.
Everyone was everywhere, you said?
Correct.
But there were only a couple of kids fighting, and most of them were watching, was your recollection?
Correct.
I have trial seekers.
And now you tell us that you were watching,
well.
correct? Michaela Holton was standing beside you. She was watching.
Correct.
Did either of you have your phones out?
No.
And who else was watching at that point?
I know Jimmy was watching. I'm really not sure who else.
When you say you know Jimmy was watching,
yeah.
How do you know Jimmy was watching?
Because I was staring at him.
You were staring at him? Yeah. And he was standing in one place?
Yeah.
The whole time?
About the same area, at least.
Okay, the same area. So he wasn't standing in one place the whole time?
He wasn't just standing still. I'd say like moving, but he didn't leave that vicinity over there.
When you say that vicinity, can you show us where he never left?
I'd say like right over here. Just stayed in that area.
Okay. You never saw him throw any punches?
No.
You never saw him throw any kicks?
No.
You never saw him even get close enough to do so?
No.
Was there anyone blocking your view of Jimmy?
No.
She doesn't see anybody else. She doesn't remember anything else, but she remembers.
When you're standing there watching, could
Jimmy.
you identify where Tyler DeSilva was?
No, not when I was looking at Jimmy, no.
At any point, did you see Tyler DeSilva involved in the fight on the lawn?
Yeah.
Okay, where was he? Could you point out for us?
Tyler DeSilva?
Tyler DeSilva.
I'd say he was closer to the red bush.
Closer to the red bush? Yeah. And how many people was he fighting with?
It looks like one that I knew of for sure.
Looked like one. Do you remember who that was?
No, not really. I couldn't really see.
And could you see Mr. Valle at any point?
He was behind Tyler, so I couldn't see him until later.
Okay, so you couldn't see where Mr. Valle was?
I knew he was behind Tyler DeSilva, so he was closer to the curb, but I couldn't see him like fighting.
And then you said you recall hearing someone say he has a knife. He has a knife.
Correct.
Do you know who that was that said that?
Charlie Connery.
How do you know that?
Because I know Charlie's voice.
And so that night, you recall hearing him say that he has a knife. He has a knife. And you told us you thought, oh my God, what's going on?
Correct.
And then a couple seconds later, you saw Mr. Valle near Jimmy McGrath.
Correct.
And Jimmy McGrath, he was still in that same place. He hadn't moved.
Correct.
And was there anybody else near Mr. Valle?
At the time that he was near Jimmy?
Yes.
I think Matt and Charlie were near him.
Where were they?
I'm not sure. I know Charlie was on, I don't know what side Charlie was on, but I know Charlie was near him, and I know Matt had walked by him at that point.
Was Mr. McGrath's back to you, or was he facing you?
He was like, at what point are you talking about?
When you saw him and he was near Mr. Valle.
When the defendant was lunging at him?
When the first time that you saw him was, and you've described watching Mr. McGrath, was he facing you, or were you looking at his back?
He was facing me.
Mr. McGrath was facing you?
Yeah.
Okay. And
away from the fight.
Did you see Will Berardi?
No, I don't recall seeing him.
Did you see Matt Lokovich?
Yeah.
And where was he in relation to Mr. Valle?
Close to him.
How close?
I'm not sure the exact distance.
Could you see his face, or could you see his back?
I think it was his, I'm actually not sure. I can't.
And what did you see him doing?
He was just walking by him at that point.
Just walking by him? And what was Charlie doing?
Charlie was just standing there, I think, just next to him.
She's describing the video. She's describing the video from the video's vantage point.
And you told us that you could see Mr. Valle lunge towards Mr. McGrath.
Correct.
And that he stayed there, that's Mr. McGrath, for about 2 seconds.
What was that? Sorry?
You said you saw him stay there for about 2 seconds, Mr. McGrath?
Stay there for 2 seconds. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
After you saw the lunge?
Yeah.
And at that point, was it just Mr. Valle and Mr. McGrath face to face?
When I was looking, yeah.
There was nobody else near them?
No, not
No, no other people around them or behind Mr.
Probably
Valle?
like on the sides, like where everyone was standing, but not like directly next to them, no.
And you told us you didn't see a knife, is that right?
Correct.
And that you were first aware that Tommy Connery had been injured, correct? And you didn't see anyone else at that point?
No.
But you later learned of the others?
Correct.
Did you see Ryan Hines at all during the fight?
No.
Did you see Tyler Rich at all during the fight?
Here and there, not. I wasn't really focused on him.
Did you see Jacob Villalobos at all during the fight?
Yeah.
What was Jacob Villalobos doing during the fight?
I only saw Jacob push Tyler into the road.
You also told us that you saw somebody push Mr. Valle into the road, into a car at one point, right?
No, he walked to the car.
He walked to the car?
Yeah.
This is bad.
Do you recall speaking with officers about this in May, about a week after the events on May 23rd?
Yeah.
And you went down to the Shelton Police Department with your sister?
Yeah.
And you don't recall telling them that it was just a big brawl and Tyler Rich at one point pushed Raul Valle into the car?
They were wearing similar colors at that point, so when I looked, it looked like the defendant. And I think back to it, Tyler DeSilva had a jersey on, so that's how I could tell the difference.
Okay, so you're backing off of that earlier description. Now Tyler Rich did not push Mr. Valle into the car.
Not that I recall now. No, I'm not sure.
This testimony may be enough to convict him, and it's concerning.
And you said that you could see him go to the vehicle.
Yeah.
You were watching him at that point?
Yeah, because Jimmy was right there. So when I was looking at Jimmy, he was behind him.
So Jimmy was still standing in the same spot the whole time?
Yeah.
And you could see Mr. Valle at the vehicle?
Yeah.
What did you see him do at the vehicle?
He just opened the door and came back.
You would agree that's the same thing that happens in the video, correct?
Correct.
Are you sure that you're telling us of what you remember that night or what you saw watching the video?
No, I'm positive. I'm telling you what I saw.
She only remembers the people you see
And
in
again,
the video, though. That's the
what
problem.
you remember is that Jimmy was not involved in the fight at all, right?
I know that for a fact.
You know that for a fact. How do you know that for a fact?
Because I know he was not involved in the fight.
And then you told us you saw Mr. Valle come back onto the grass, correct?
Correct.
You said he slipped.
It looked like a slip. I don't know what happened.
Then he turns and he spins to his left.
Correct.
And he takes his arm and you see him do this, his right arm, this upward motion into Mr. McGrath.
Correct.
And at that point, you would agree Mr. McGrath's back was to you?
No, not his back.
Well, can you tell us what you saw, what your view was?
He was standing up like this, so it was like to the side angle.
Okay. And was there anybody else around Mr. McGrath and Mr. Valle at that point?
No, not that I recall.
They were isolated, just the two of them. Did you see Mr. DeSilva at that point?
No.
Clerk's falling asleep over there. Oh, man.
And then you told us on Friday that you are studying right now a criminal justice program?
Yeah.
was part of the inspiration for doing that what you were involved with on that evening?
I would say, yeah.
Whoa.
And
let's go in here.
That's being involved that evening. Has that motivated you to see someone held responsible for this?
Sure.
Boom.
May we see State's Exhibit 60? Can we watch that?
He's attacking her credibility.
Do we have it? Sorry.
She wants justice. She's pursuing a degree in criminal justice. She's motivated to make sure justice is brought about in this case.
I'm going to ask you to watch
influence.
this video with us.
What's the exhibit number, please?
I'm sorry, State's Exhibit 60?
60.
Yes, Ron. You've seen that video before, Ms. Capella?
Yes.
And I don't do this to be gratuitous. I apologize. I recognize it's not easy for you to do to watch that. But I do think we need to break it down just a little bit. Do you know who was filming that?
Not at that time, I didn't know.
Have you since come to learn that it was Tanner Chernowski?
Correct.
Do you remember seeing Tanner Chernowski that evening?
Here and there, I don't really think I was with him a lot.
Do you remember seeing him film that evening?
No.
So when he was filming this, you don't recall seeing him walking around with his phone out?
No.
And where were you standing when that scene was going on that we just watched there?
Right where I pointed out before.
By the truck, by the front of the truck?
Yeah.
You hadn't moved at that point?
No.
All right. Your Honor, at this point, I have what I would like to have marked as Defendant's Exhibit B for ID purposes. However, I understand I've shown it to the state, and I understand that there's no objection to this.
Here from the state.
No objection.
Thank you.
No objection.
DSN OG, thank you, 28 months.
Evidence, defendants, 2 full exhibit.
I'm concerned her testimony recalls the names of people you see in the video and where they were, but she has no other memories of other people who we know participated, but were not captured in the video. She didn't see the guy who was filming, who would be right in her line of sight with a light out on the phone.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that, given the clerk envelope.
Her credibility is questionable right now.
Clarification of the record, it's defendants B, not 2. Thank you.
DSN, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships.
Show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit B. This is a frame by frame of that same video that we just watched. Okay. We had some trouble going through it slower earlier, so just broke it down to frame by frame.
Okay.
All right. All right. And so this is Defense Exhibit B. Sorry. And we're starting here at frame 0. Okay. Now, in this video here, this frame 0 that we see, do you see a person? I'm going to point up here. Do you see a person right here with what appears to be a light blue jersey of some sort on?
Yeah.
And you can also see it there if it's easier for you on there. Do you see that person?
Yeah.
Do you know who that person is?
It's really blurry. I can't tell.
Fair enough. And do you see to the right in front of that person someone wearing black shorts and a green top?
Yeah.
Do you know who that person is?
Here.
And it's blurry. I can't tell.
Okay. And do you see just to the right of that person in the black shorts and the green top, someone wearing lighter colored shorts and a dark top?
Yeah.
With some sort of graphic on the back?
Yeah.
We're going to scoot ahead 1, 2 frames. And
this guy's moving forward. Everyone's walking
again,
that
do you
direction.
still see these same figures there on the screen?
Yeah.
And do you see that now, beside the person that was on the right of the screen wearing lighter shorts and a dark top, that there is another person that is emerging wearing a similar outfit?
No, I'm sorry, I don't see that.
Let me move it forward for you a little bit. Do you see now in frame 6 that there is another person wearing light bottom and a dark top that has emerged beside that other person?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
On mine, I can't even tell. They look like people, so no, I can't tell who that is. Like right here, on this screen, I can't even tell that it's a person.
Can you see legs?
I can see legs, but that's it.
People have legs?
Would you agree that that's indicative of a person?
Yeah, on mine, it just looks like blurs.
Okay. And can you still see those same figures to the right of the screen on frame 8?
Yeah.
Do you see Matthew Lokovich anywhere here?
Not that I see, no.
And again, at frame 10, to the far right of the screen, do you see that there are at least now 2 people closest to the right edge of the frame wearing these lighter bottoms, dark tops that appear to have some graphic on the back?
Yeah.
Do you know, you couldn't identify who those people were?
No.
And here we are in frame 13. Do you see those same 2 folks to the right of the screen?
Yeah.
There's somebody right in front of those 2 people.
And here we are at frame 19. And to the right edge of the screen, can you see that those 2 figures, can you see their legs?
Yeah, a little.
As we get further along here, can you still see the legs of those 2 figures?
Yeah.
We are at frame 22 at this point. I'm sorry, I have to keep dropping it down. Do you see the first of those 2 figures here in frame 23? Can you see his legs?
Yeah.
Can you see his right leg?
Which one?
Can you see the one leg that appears to be back behind the others?
Yeah.
Does it appear that he's either lunging forward or taking a step?
And here we are at frame 27. Can you see that leg being drawn back and now you can see the foot?
Yeah.
And do you see to the left side of the screen someone with a phone on?
Yeah.
And can you identify that person as being Ricky Field?
Not from this, I can't.
Here we are at frame 28. Do you see the foot of one of those 2 people to the right side of the screen?
Yeah.
What does that foot appear to be doing to you?
I'm not sure.
It's no longer in contact with the ground, is it?
Yeah.
You see the bottom of the foot?
Yeah.
See that same foot in frame 29?
Yes.
It's swinging forward. It's a kick.
And in frame 30, do you see that foot any longer?
It's really blurry. I can't.
Oh, yeah, it sure looked like a kick.
Here we are in frame 40. Do you see those two figures with the light bottoms and the dark tops and the graphic on them? Do you still see them over here towards the right side of the screen?
I just see one.
You only see one.
Do you see the two legs with knees pointed towards each other? How about now? Back one.
Here we are in frame 47. Now can you see the two figures again?
Yeah.
And is there a third person that appears to have joined them?
Yeah.
I apologize, Ms. Capella. I do not mean to be tedious. Here we are in frame 63. Do you see one of the two figures with the light bottoms and the dark top over to the right-hand side?
Yeah.
And do you still see on the left-hand side the same person that had the phone out with the light on before?
Yeah.
Can you identify that person as Ricky Fiola?
Again, I can't tell by this.
We're at frame 63 there. And again, here we are at frame 75. Can you once again see that there are two individuals over here with light bottoms and dark tops in the same area to the right of the screen?
Again, I can only see one.
Okay. Do you see this figure here with a white top and
yes.
a dark bottom to the right of the screen?
Yes.
And do you see to his left a figure with light bottoms and a dark top?
I can see it.
Do you see to that figure's left another figure with dark top and light bottoms?
Yes.
And do you see that the figure we just described appears to be moving to his left?
Yeah.
The other figure appears to be facing more towards the street?
Yeah.
It's getting harder to see, but it's 84. Guy on the right's moving further out towards the street.
Did you see Ryan Hines that evening?
No.
Never?
I saw him probably when he first got there, like a couple times, but I didn't really talk to him. And then I saw him after he was stabbed when the ambulance got there.
You didn't see him at all during the night? Do you know what he was wearing that night?
No, I don't remember.
Do you see this figure here in the middle of frame 84 wearing a white top with some sort of multicolored graphic on the back?
Yeah.
You know who that is?
I don't.
And here we are in frame 90. Can you see to the right of the figure with the black shorts and the green top what appears to be a figure down on the ground?
It's a big blur.
Is that the area where you recall seeing Tyler DeSilva?
I can't even tell where that is.
Here we are in frame 93. Now do you see a figure down on the ground, appears to have one arm over his head and another arm on the ground?
Yeah, I think.
Do you know whether or not that was where Tyler DeSilva was?
Not sure from this. Sure.
Well, you've seen this video before, right? Where we got these still frames from.
I think so.
And do you see the figure we just talked about in the middle with the white top and the multicolored design on the back looking towards, is that towards the road?
Yeah.
This is frame 96. Do you see this figure down on the ground now?
Yeah.
Do you know whether or not that's Tyler DeSilva?
I can't tell from that.
Do you see to the right of the screen in frame 96 that there are the figure with the black bottoms and the white top that we saw before?
Yeah.
And do you see that there's another figure in front of him that looks like maybe bent over?
Yeah.
Is that the area towards the road?
I guess, yeah.
And can you see on the very right of the frame here, in frame 106, again, what appears to be light bottoms, light shoes, and a dark top?
I'm sorry, can you point that out again?
To the right here of the screen, do you see light shoes, light bottoms, dark top?
Yes.
Do you see Jimmy McGrath anywhere in this screen?
No, not that I can point out.
You told us he didn't move the entire time.
I said he stood in that area. It was, I wouldn't say he just stood in one spot, but
But he never engaged in any of the fight.
not that, no.
Not that you recall.
No.
And do you see the figure in the middle with the white top and the multicolored design on the back?
Yeah.
And do you see to that figure's left another figure with light shoes, light bottom, dark top, and some apparent graphic on the back?
Yes.
Here we are in frame 108. Do you see somebody on the ground there wearing light bottom and a light blue top?
Yeah.
Do you know if that's Tyler De Silva?
I believe so.
They're trying to show that Tyler was on the ground, still getting beat.
You don't see Mr. Valle at this point anywhere, do you?
Mr. Valle comes back.
Do you recall the fight breaking up into essentially two separate groups at any point?
Yeah.
And the fight involving Mr. De Silva was closer to that tree that you've described, correct?
Correct.
In the bush, right?
Correct.
And the other fight was involving Mr. Valle, right?
Correct.
How many people were fighting Mr. Valle?
I'm not sure.
Was Matthew Lockovich one of them?
I'm not sure.
Was Jimmy McGrath one of them?
No.
Do you see Jimmy McGrath anywhere in this video?
No.
In this frame here, this is frame 124.
No, not that I could point out.
Do you see in frame 24, right in the middle of the screen, a figure wearing light shoes, light bottom, and a dark top?
Yeah.
Is that Jimmy McGrath?
I can't point that out.
Do you see to the right of the frame, again, a figure wearing light shoes, black bottoms, and a white top?
Correct.
Is that what Charlie Connery was wearing that night?
I don't recall what everyone was wearing that night.
Do you see Matthew Lockovich anywhere in this?
No, I don't.
Do you see a person in frame 143 to the left of the screen?
Yeah.
And do you see that person with their phone out and the light on?
Yeah.
Can you identify that as being Ricky Fiola?
I'm not sure.
Do you recall seeing Ricky Fiola that night with his phone out filming anything?
I don't.
In this frame here, frame 157, do you see an individual with their shirt off, darker skin tone, and a dark pair of dark bottoms?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
I believe that'd be face on.
To the right of the screen, do you see somebody wearing light bottoms and a dark top, short sleeve?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure.
I need you to watch. We're going to start on frame 178. Do you see this figure here with black bottom and green top? Who's in the middle of the screen?
Yeah.
That's this guy right here.
What does that person appear to do there to you?
I can't really see.
It's right here.
Do you see the leg, the right leg of that person?
I don't.
He's
You don't
kicking.
see that?
No, I don't.
He's kicking. He's got his hands up and he's kicking with his foot like a stomp.
Here we are in frame 191. Would you agree that the focus of the camera has now panned to the right?
Correct.
And that would be towards Laurel Glen Drive, right?
Yeah.
And do you see figures here on the screen?
Yeah.
You see one figure here to the very left side wearing lighter shoes, light bottom, and a dark top?
Yes.
Do you see a figure in front of him wearing light shoes, black bottom, and a white top?
Yeah.
Do you see a figure right here wearing white shoes, blue bottom, no top apparently?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I can't tell by this. This is really blurry.
Okay. What was Matthew Lokovich wearing that evening?
I don't recall exactly from my...
And do you see another figure to the right of the screen wearing black pants, long pants, and a white top?
Yeah.
And we forward through and we get... Do you see two vehicles here in the road?
Yes.
One near the curb?
Yep.
One behind the curb?
Yes.
And stay in frame. You see somebody going towards the vehicle that's further out in the road?
Yeah.
And you've seen this video before, correct?
Yeah.
And you see the figure that's closer to the car reach the car, right?
Yeah.
And then you see somebody come into the frame 226. Do you know who that person is?
I'm not sure.
Did you see the interior light appear to come on in the car there?
Yes.
And this is frame 247. Do you know who that person at the door is?
Nito.
And you would agree the camera has now panned over to where Mr. Valle is at the car?
Yes.
Did you hear Mr. Valle say anything when he was at the car?
No.
And you see Mr. Valle appear to be looking back towards his left, correct?
Right.
And what was going on to his left at that point? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Did you see Tyler De Silva at this point? Not in the video, but when you were standing on the lawn?
Yes, I believe so.
What was happening to Tyler De Silva at that point?
I think he was getting pushed out of the road.
He was getting pushed onto the road.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Zoom in on his face here. Cameraman does. And then we see the camera pan back to the left, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see
And
somebody on
now
the
we are
ground
in frame 284. Do you see a figure on the ground?
Yeah.
Is that still Tyler De Silva?
I think so.
He hasn't been pushed into the road yet?
No.
Is that different than your recollection?
Yeah.
And how many figures do you see surrounding him?
Surrounding him?
Yes.
Five?
5 or 6?
Do you know who any of those folks are?
Not by this, no.
This is frame 286. That's a little clearer, correct?
Yeah.
Can you identify any of those folks?
The one with his shirt on is Alex. The one with the red hat, Michael Sampieri. That's really all I could tell.
Okay. But you would agree that there are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures that we can see in that frame other than Mr. De Silva on the ground.
Correct.
And you can identify 2 of those?
Yeah.
Do you see Mr. McGrath anywhere?
No.
I bet we're going to hear that Lito says he went back to help his friend.
We're in frame
Mr. McGrath tried to stop him.
307. Do you see on the right-hand side of that frame that there are two figures, one with a white top and black bottom, one with what appears to be a lighter bottom and a dark top?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. Can you see two figures on the far right-hand side of the frame?
This guy and this guy. Two people.
While this is going on, what we're seeing here, are you watching Mr. De Silva as he's being attacked?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
I think I was looking at Matt at that point.
You were looking at Matt?
Yeah.
Where was Matt?
I think he was back more, I believe.
When you say back,
like,
can you show us on the exhibit behind you where Backmore is?
Cameraman, don't move.
I would just say behind this fight, so I think it was like he was over, like over here more.
Don't move, camera. Don't
Closer
move.
to the tree line or closer to the road?
I would say closer to the road.
And here we are at frame 333. You see a figure emerging from the right-hand side of the frame?
Yeah.
He's wearing light shoes, a black bottom, and a white shirt, do you agree?
Yeah.
You know who that is?
I think that's Charlie Connery.
Charlie Connery?
Yeah.
You told us before he was standing with Jimmy McGrath.
Near him, yeah.
Near him?
Yeah.
And Matthew Lockovich as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you see in frame 345 another figure emerging just behind Charlie Connery?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Do you see in frame 355 another figure emerging just behind the figure that you could not identify that's following Charlie Connery?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I think that's Matt.
That's Matt Lockovich?
Yeah.
Do you remember him walking with these other two individuals?
Walking with them? No. I just remember him walking by, yeah. Like walking that way, sorry.
Would you agree that he's not behind that fight that's going on?
Correct.
And do you see here in frame 364 a figure emerge just behind Matt Lockovich, the unidentified individual, and Charlie Connery wearing light bottom, light shoes, and a dark top?
Yeah.
You know who that is?
I believe that would be Jimmy.
Do you see in frame 385 Matthew Lockovich?
Yeah.
And what was Matthew Lockovich doing at this point?
I'm not sure. He kind of just was standing there like that.
Just observing?
Yeah, I think so.
He's poised, though.
In frame 398, do you know who the individual in the middle is that appears to be pushing someone whose shirt is up over their head?
I can't tell from that.
And do you still see to the right of frame 398 the individual wearing lighter shoes, light bottom, dark top?
Here's the
Yeah,
push.
that'd be Jimmy.
Right here. This guy's getting pushed by that guy. Shoves him.
And as we go past now on to frame 409, does that appear to be Jimmy to you?
Yeah.
And you see somebody getting pushed out into the road?
Yeah.
And you see another figure in frame 417 that is now passing as Mr. De Silva gets pushed into the road, do you not?
Correct.
Yep, it's got to be Lido.
And in frame 427, you see Mr. De Silva's left hand, correct?
Yeah.
Do you see anything in his left hand?
Not that I can tell him that.
No. And now, you see Mr. De Silva go into the road. At frame 457. DeSilva still in the road at frame 479. Do you see Mr. McGrath at this point?
Not in this picture, no.
Do you see Mr. Lokovich at this point?
No.
Do you see any of those other figures that we had seen before?
No.
Where were they at this point?
On the grass?
And what were they doing?
I'm not sure.
Were you still looking at Jimmy McGrath?
I believe so, yes.
Were you looking at Matthew Lokovich?
I believe Matt, yeah, I was.
What was Matt doing?
I think he was watching again.
Where was Michael Samperi at that point?
I have no idea.
Do you know what anybody was doing at that point?
Not that I can recall, no.
She only remembers the video.
Here we are at frame 485. Do you see the light shoes, light bottom, dark top?
Yeah.
And do you know who that is?
Jimmy?
And at this point, do you agree he is not facing Tyler DeSilva in the road?
Correct.
And do you see any of the other people from that group?
Not in this picture, no.
And in frame 486, do you still see what you've identified as Jimmy?
Yeah.
And do you see a hand on his lower back?
Yeah.
Do you know whose hand that is?
No, it doesn't even look like a hand.
Can you identify it as a hand now? In frame 488?
No, I can't.
Can you identify it as a hand now in frame 489?
Appears to be.
Do you know if that's Matthew Lokovich's hand?
I have no idea.
Do you know if Matthew was still standing beside Jimmy at that point?
I believe he was near him at that point, yeah.
And where was Charlie Connery at that point?
Maybe a little bit in front of them.
In front of them?
Yeah, I think so.
And where was Faison Teal at that point?
I'm not sure.
Ryan Hines?
I didn't see Ryan during this.
Tyler Rich?
Not sure.
You see Mr. DeSilva still in the road in frame 489?
Yes.
We'll say Jimmy does not appear to have clenched fists.
And do you see in frame 508
well, maybe he does.
Jimmy McGrath?
Yeah.
And do you see any of the other people?
I don't.
Do you recall what any of the other people were doing at that point?
I don't.
Do you recall what Mr. Valle was doing at that point?
I don't.
Could you see Mr. Valle at that point?
Not at this point, no.
Was somebody blocking your view?
No.
Why could you not see Mr. Valle?
Objection.
I don't remember.
Because he was out of frame. Pulls his pants up.
And it's frame 518 now. Do you see Mr. McGrath is no longer in the frame?
Correct.
And now frame 528. Do you see Mr. McGrath or part of Mr. McGrath at the left side of the frame?
Yeah.
Do you recall seeing Mr. Valle at that point?
I think he got closer at that point.
Where was Mr. Connery standing at that point?
I don't remember exactly.
Where was Matthew Lokovich standing at that point?
I'm not sure exactly.
Were they blocking your view?
No.
How do you know that?
Because I remember I had a clear view.
Okay, but if we advance the frame.
And can you see Mr. McGrath in frame 532?
Yes.
Frame 533?
Yep.
Frame 534?
Yes.
frame 535?
Yes.
Now, after seeing that, does that in any way change your recollection of seeing Mr. McGrath standing in one area not involved in the fight?
No.
And you would agree that you did see him from time to time there, moving with a group that included Charlie Connery, an unknown person that you couldn't identify for us, Matthew Lockovich, your boyfriend,
yes,
Jimmy McGrath,
yes,
and another individual with black pants and a white top that we saw come across the screen that, again, you couldn't identify.
Yes.
And there were other figures that you couldn't identify as well, right?
Correct.
But you're certain that you had a clear view of seeing what happened between Mr. Valle and Mr. McGrath.
100%, yes.
And that it was just the two of them, correct?
Yes.
And you can't tell us where Mr. Connery or Mr. Lockovich were at that point?
No.
You were dating Mr. Lockovich at this time, correct?
Correct.
And you had grown up, you told us, since childhood with Mr. McGrath.
Yeah.
How well did you know Mr. Connery?
Pretty well.
And his family?
Yeah.
Tommy? Had you ever been over to their house?
Yeah.
And you didn't call the cops that evening, correct?
I did not.
And you didn't go to talk to the cops, they came to you, correct?
Correct.
And that wasn't until May 23rd, correct?
Yeah.
A little bit more than a week after this all occurred. Had you talked to anybody about what happened that night prior to speaking with the cops?
No.
You hadn't talked to anybody about it?
No.
Not even Matt?
No.
I don't buy that.
And you wouldn't want to see Jimmy McGrath's memory or reputation damaged in any way, would you?
No.
You wouldn't want to see any harm come to Matthew Lockovich, even though you're not with Matthew Lockovich anymore, correct?
Correct.
And Charlie Connery, you wouldn't want to see any harm come to him, right?
Right.
And you've come here and you've tried to tell us, to the best of your recollection, what you saw that evening, correct?
Correct.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Yeah, credibility tanked.
Couple questions, Your Honor. Morning, Taylor. So the defense attorney asked you just moments ago regarding you saw a video frame by frame with states withdrawn defense B, where he had asked you on multiple occasions where people were standing. To your recollection, you had some indication of where you saw people, but for the most part, you were not able to indicate where everyone was.
Correct.
From your best recollection, was Jimmy involved at all, from what you can recall that night, in the fight?
No.
When the fight was going on, Taylor, where was Jimmy standing from your vantage point? Where was Jimmy standing where you were?
Diagonal from me.
And the whole time he was standing in that general location, you indicated that he moved around a little bit, but for the most part, was he standing in that general location?
Yes, in that same area for majority of the time.
When counsel showed you the frame by frame of defense B, are you able to indicate at all for sure who those individuals were who were wearing a dark shirt and a light bottom?
No, it was dark. You can't even see their faces in those frames.
Do you recall offhand, as you sit here today, if anyone else at the party was wearing dark shirt and light bottoms that night?
No, I wasn't focused on everyone's outfits.
And it's difficult to recall each and every individual, what they were wearing, where they were standing. But from that night, what are you 100% sure you witnessed that night?
I watched the defendant go up to Jimmy and stab Jimmy.
And when you witnessed the defendant go up and stab Jimmy, as you indicated on direct examination, do you recall if anyone else was standing directly next to Jimmy at that point?
No.
Was anyone else, as defense counsel indicated, putting his arm around Jimmy or in close proximity to Jimmy at that point. When the defendant came up to Jimmy, was it a purposeful stabbing?
Yes.
When the defendant came up to Jimmy, was there any hesitation that you saw in him stabbing Jimmy?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Please don't just step as the exit. I think it's a very good time to take our morning recess. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are going to go ahead and take our morning recess, and I believe the state has one more witness to call his meeting. Court will stand in recess.
Asking why do I have some questions about her credibility? First of all, I think she is testifying truthfully to what she remembers. Plus, she has a little bit, well, when it comes to the names of who was doing what and when and where they were, the only time she remembers where someone is and who it was and what they were doing is when they were seen on video for the duration of the time they were on the video. My problem with that is she's remembering what she knows from the video. And all the other time, when there's no video or when it happens off camera, aside from the defendant stabbing Jimmy, she doesn't know what's happening. The problem with that is that I have credibility issues with that. I will say that her testimony alone is probably enough to get him convicted. If the jury believes it, this will be a guilty of murder. I think the video slow motion was a great move by the defense, trying to break that down a little bit, because there are scenes where we see Jimmy and his legs moving in a manner that shows he's not just standing there watching, that he's actively moving. They're big motions, big bend in the leg, big step, big movement forward. But when he's standing side by side with somebody else, basically involved directly with the other altercation, the second altercation out by the street, we don't know which one of those two people he is because there are two outfits that are very similar. She says he was over by the grass, which the video shows that he was right over there next to the defendant. Struggling. I don't know. Man. Amy Manti, 4643, member for 24 months. I think it's been longer, back when chat only had 300 people. I remember that, Amy. Those great times. Day 3. Looks like Jimmy is kicking. If Jimmy was the one on the left with the two matching outfits, I would agree with that. It is hard to tell. There's no question about whether or not the defendant stabbed Jimmy. The question is whether or not Jimmy was involved in a fight with the defendant and the defendant was using self-defense. He's not saying I didn't do it. That's so. She watches the video frame by frame. She can't describe when somebody is stomping, like the hands are up and the foot is going down as they're stomping on somebody on the ground. Mr. Silva, she's like, she can't tell. She can't see when her friends are doing something wrong. She thought Mr. Silva was out in the street already when the defendant was coming back from the car. And in fact, Mr. Silva was still getting beat on the ground by 3 to 5 people at that time. Nobody deserves to die. It is a terrible tragedy. But the jury is going to decide if under the laws of Connecticut, if Raul was acting within what the law allows in self-defense. He has to testify. He has to testify. I thought might be enough with some of the state witnesses that testified and that were also in the car and described the situation. That helped a ton for the defense side. But he has to testify, and we have to hear those crucial seconds. What happened? Why did he go out to the car? Why did he return from the car? Right? And had Jimmy been stabbed already, or was Jimmy stabbed last? What happened, and why did he stab? What was going on? If Lito tries to say he was helping his friend, that's not really self-defense, though, right? It's not self-defense. It's called the defense of others, which generally self-defense allows you to protect loved ones, and they were close. They were friends. They were, they're best friends, and his best friend's getting beat. That might qualify for in the defense of others, which would allow you to have take the same action that you'd be allowed to take in your own defense, as if you were the one being attacked. But Jimmy, it can't just be Jimmy was in the way. I had to get past Jimmy to defend the others. If Jimmy wasn't doing anything, this is murder, murder, murder all day long. Oh man, quite the. I don't know. I know the state, especially that part of Connecticut, he's done. Rosemary, there are a couple things that look really bad for Jimmy, or excuse me, Jimmy's the deceased. Really bad for Raul. 4 people stabbed. That's a lot of stabbing. Yeah, it's bad to bring a knife to a fist fight, but that in and of itself is not guilty. Does not make him guilty of any of the crimes. If he was getting beat and he was feared for his life, you are allowed to use deadly force to defend yourself. The jurors would have to determine that this altercation began and was instigated by the people who were in the party. That shouldn't be too hard to pass that checkpoint, because most of the people at the party admit that they threw the first punch, that they ripped the shirt off Raul's head. They attacked him and the other guy, De Silva, first. They threw the first punches. They were standing over and punching before anything else happened. That part of the self-defense thing, that's check all day long. But they still have to show this is reasonable, and I don't know if they're going to be able to. The brawl's very chaotic, and when 2 people are dressed alike, an innocent person can be stabbed or punched to death. Then it's manslaughter, right? Oops, There were 2 people with white shorts and blue shirts, and one was beating me, and I stabbed the other. That's manslaughter. I was trying to defend myself from the first one. I stabbed the second. That's still guilty. I didn't mean to kill that guy, but I did. That still breaks down that way. I've got this. This guy keeps calling me. Who is this?
Call from Becca.
It's Becca. This is a different number. Hello, Becca. This is RA. How are you doing? I've been getting spam calls all morning that I've been hanging up on. I thought it was the same one. But how are you doing, Becca?
Okay. I'm doing great. I was just curious about the original altercation at the first home. How, in a legal sense, does that play in to, who began what?
Well,
I
think from a legal standpoint, they would be viewed as 2 separate incidents. If they are separate, then I would say they should charge for that first one, because that was assault and battery all day long.
Sure.
You could even go with assault with a deadly weapon. If the headbutting somebody with a helmet on, you're wearing protective gear, specifically targeting their head. Raul, if they charge for that, which they have not, I would say I would find him guilty immediately. That's the testimony is just there.
I am curious. Yeah. I am curious about them. For all intents and purposes, after that initial altercation, there was separation involved. Other children had left. The scene of that. Now, whether obviously there was an invitation to either the high school or the party, whatever, but Raul, the Tyler De Silva, you know, they brought themselves there. It's so tough. It's so tough.
Yeah, it is. What we know is that somebody at the second party first invited the three boys that were, you know, in the first altercation, the first fight, the guys that were in the garage that took the beer and beat the, you know, jumped the guys, invited them into a text group with the other group. We're trash talking. It said basically, bring it, you know, show up. What did they say? Pull up, I think they called him. Here's the address. Get over here. We're not done. And they said, okay, let's continue this.
Right. But, you know, they didn't have to accept that invitation. So I think that, I don't know, it's such a...
Yeah. Connecticut is not a mutual combat state. You can't just say, well, they agreed to fight. You know, that's the consequence. Jimmy...
Right.
We have no testimony that Jimmy was involved in any way in the text messages, knew that there was going to be a fight.
Correct. That was going to be my next.
Yeah, it's that part. He was just one of the 50 or so. We've heard there were up to 50 that came out of that house to watch or participate in that altercation.
Sure.
I do think that you have to look at the fact that the boys that pulled up, they looked out and they're like, oh, we're fighting the whole football team?
Yeah,
that's not what I, you know, drive, you know, suddenly it doesn't become very appealing at all. But they were surrounded at that point in the car. The car was just kicked and thrown, smashed, whatever. We've got evidence of the car that happened. People saying, I don't remember anything happening.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got smashed windows. We've got dented car. It occurred. We've got the evidence of that. They left and they get out. And then these boys, and I think alcohol must have had something to do with it, because they're looking at the car all smashed up and they're all upset. They're like, hey, this isn't right. But they go back with one person who knows the homeowner, Tyler, right? And I think Tyler and Tyler go back. You know, Tyler goes to meet with Tyler to say, look, you guys just totally busted up my buddy's car. But they went back. And that's when Raul has his shirt pulled up over his head, all goofy style. Alcohol probably had something to do with that there as well. And
that was a very odd interaction.
It's weird, but it would be. It's not aggressive. It's not, you know, you guys have to pay. Let's equal this up right here. They knew they were walking back to a big group. I think that the testimony they were trying to talk it out is fair, and they didn't throw first. First, he had the shirt ripped off his head. He's like, "Hey, what'd you do that for?" Okay, and then you've got somebody else who, you know, attacks him and his buddy at the same time. So I don't think that second time they instigated the fight. I don't think them going back is legally makes them responsible as starting it. I think it's stupid. But
I could not agree more.
Becca, this is a tough one, and it's terrible.
It is. And I'm like, I'm finding myself like really grappling with, you know, I in a moment I have such strong feelings, you know, gosh, this was so preventable, They had so many multiple opportunities to leave, but, you know, their age obviously plays a factor. The fact that they were consuming alcohol plays a factor, you know, and then I'm like, God, I just, my final point, I'm so happy I'm not on that jury. This is such a difficult case. And yeah, I mean, I don't see a reality that he is not found guilty just with, you know, all this. I don't know. See, I'm doing it right now.
You've got a dead teenager who was a good kid.
I know.
Right? And it's hard to get past that as a member of the jury.
They all generally seemed like well-rounded young people. None of them seemed overly, you know, obviously they're testifying in court, so they're not going to be like, F him, you know. But it's like none of them really seem like bad. The area doesn't seem like it's a bad area, that there's like these fights happening. I mean, I think we heard two of them say that this was their first fight that they've ever even witnessed. So whether that's true or not, you know.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that testimony. I said a little
I did
BS.
too. I mean, and I think that just the commentary about, you know, being so shocked by the fight, and I've never seen this. I think every one of them likely anticipated and invited a physical altercation. I think everybody, all in their minds, were like, this is going down. We're doing this.
That's why all the phones were out.
Love it.
Everyone's filming. Everyone's like, all right, here it goes.
Oh,
you know, get ready. Get your Insta.
You know, nowadays it's so appalling that, you know, something terrible, obviously they're kids, whatever, dumb. But, you know, something terrible is going on and their first instinct is like, record it. You know, it's like so discouraging. But I just think that I believe them when they say, you know, that nobody could have expected it to go like that. Like, I think they all were anticipating punch, you know, somebody's declared a winner or not, whatever. Some neighbor comes out and says, get off my lawn, and it's over.
Somebody gets a black eye and a bloody nose and a couple bruises.
Exactly. Like, I don't think that anybody was anticipating somebody getting killed.
Becca, what do you think about Taylor Capella, this witness that we just finished with, about her testimony?
I'll tell you what I think. I think that she has seen that video too many times to be able to testify exclusively from her memory. And I don't necessarily fault her for that because A, she's a young person. Mm-hmm. B, you know, I think she gave the best, the most genuine testimony she is capable of giving at this point. Now, you know, I don't think I didn't really get the vibe that she's, you know, trying to protect her friend group. I'm sure that just inherently, you know, I think everybody kind of has that in them. They don't want the people they love to get, you know, wrapped up in any nonsense. But I think that the fact that she's seen that video so many times, and likely many, many more than she, you know, said. I think I don't even know, I can't recall what she said, how many times she viewed it, but
a few times,
I just think that, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, right? But I just think that I wrote in chat a little earlier that the prosecution likely told these children not to answer the question if they're not 100% certain. That's why we're hearing, you know, I think partially why we're hearing many, I don't recall, and I don't know, and I'm not sure.
Because if you answer and guess, then you're going to be
them that hard for that.
You're going to be married to that,
right? They're going to tie you down on that, and it's, you know, it's whatever. So I think that likely they're just trying to follow directions. Yeah. But I hate it. I don't like it.
I think. First of all, in the perfect world, this wouldn't have happened. But in a perfect prosecution, which is really hard to get to, there should have been more charges. Right? There should have been charges all over the place. And I realize there's some other cases that are out there. My
goodness, the Tyler. Oh, I mean, I don't want to be like, you know, point any fingers, but it is baffling that this young man is the only one being charged when really most of his actions outside of the initial altercation at the first house were, I think, I don't know, but my opinion is most of them were reactionary. He didn't drive there. He didn't, you know, I think he, again, had some opportunity to get out of the situation, but it is baffling that were not more charges filed against some of the other young men involved.
Becca, it's been a great conversation. I think we're seeing some motion in the court, so people might be coming back here in just a minute. I don't know how long of a break we've had. Thanks for the call. Thanks for your analysis.
You so much.
Always great to talk to you.
Absolutely,
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Right. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.
Jenny Harris has a question. Who was the mother who lived at this house home while this party was going on? And if so, was she charged with anything? The mom was away. Mom was away, and mom was at like an island somewhere. I forget. Not like the Caribbean, but she was like somewhere nearby, and the dad was also away doing something. So no parents home when this happened. That's typically how house parties really get out of control. The first party that the girls were at, the mom was there. And she's like, hey, this is getting too big. Everyone has to go home. You got to go. She called it off. She was at Cape Cod, which is basically an island, right? I have no idea where Cape Cod is. Never been there. She's at Cape Cod, and the dad goes out and does something as well. He's got something that night that he goes to. So Dad, who provided all the booze? Nobody knows. Everybody just picked some from the beer tree as they arrived, and it was bring your own beer. Nobody. The legal liability that exists on a civil front from providing beer in some of these situations is so extreme that no one's going to own up. No one's going to fess up. They're just the beer ferry, the beer tree, and yes, there are civil suits all over the place on this one. Kiki Garden, member for 24 months. Kiki, that's awesome. Surrounded by my people, brought together by RA. Kiki, it's awesome. I can't believe 24 months. Time's flown. It's amazing. Congratulations. Thank you very much for your support. Would not be the same without you here. Will parents be called? I don't think we will. I don't think we have any parents that were there during the second altercation. I don't think we had any testimony that neighbors came out and watched or tried to intervene. I don't think we're going to get any. It's weird to have like almost an entire trial with basically juveniles testifying. I realize most of them are legal adults at this point, but it happened when they were 16 or 17, sometimes 18. But it's sort of funny to have a trial of kids on the stand testifying.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Here we go. We're back. Rena, gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Rena.
State prepared to call its next witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
My understanding, this is the last witness.
Yes, this will be the last one.
Thank you. Jerry, thanks.
She has a whole bunch of highlighters on the desk. Last witness for the state, and they were going to rest, so we should rest here this afternoon at the latest. Let's see if we bring an adult in. Don't know who the last witness is going to be. You want to see court? You guys want to watch too? What is this? Sorry. Can't see court. Thank you for the caps. That was warranted there. You had to watch over my shoulder. How about with Di, member for 22 months? Another OG.
Gentlemen of our jury, counsel, please stipulate to the return of our jurors.
State will stipulate, Your Honor. Defense stipulates, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, at this point in time, I would ask the state to please call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Charlie Connery to the stand.
Charlie Connery? Is this a brother of Thomas or a father of Thomas? That's one of those who are injured. Looks like a brother. Thomas Connery Jr.
Connery, please step into the witness box. Remain standing. Our clerk is going to put you under oath. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury. If so, please say I do. Please state your full name, spelling your last name, and address for the record, sir.
Charles Joseph Connery.
He needs to testify to match the previous witness. Those two need to cooperate.
Good morning, Charlie. How you doing?
Very
good. Just do me a favor. Keep your voice up and stay close to that microphone because the acoustics are kind of bad in this courtroom. Okay. Charlie, can you tell the jury how old you are?
I'm 19 years old.
And do you go to school?
Yes, I go to Central Connecticut State University.
And what are you studying?
Construction management.
And are you working for the summer?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm an intern for a construction company.
Nice.
Now, have we met
Good
before
business.
today?
Yes, we have.
How many times did we meet?
Twice.
And why did we meet?
Discuss this.
And back on May 14th of 2022, how old were you?
16 years old.
And did you go to school?
Yes.
Where did you go to school?
Shawn High School.
And what year were you?
I was a junior.
And did you play any sports?
Yes.
What did you play?
I played baseball.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Ryan Hines?
Yes.
How are you familiar with him?
He's a friend. He was my baseball teammate. He's a good friend of mine.
State's Exhibit 56. Can you tell us who's in State's 56?
Ryan Hines.
Are you familiar with an individual by the name of Griffin Marcinzik?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Griffin Marcinzik?
He's a childhood friend and still one of my best friends today.
I want to direct your attention to later on in the night on May 14th of 2022. Did you attend a party anywhere that night?
Yes.
And what party did you attend?
Party at 43 Laurel Glen Drive.
And who lives there?
Tyler Rich.
And show you State's Exhibit 5. Do you know whose house that is?
It's Tyler Rich's house.
Now, what time of day would you say you got to Tyler Rich's house?
9:30 to 10.
And was it what was the lighting out like?
It was dark outside.
Was it dark out where you couldn't see in front of you, pitch black? What was it like?
I was able to see in front of me, but I wasn't pitch black out.
Now, when you got to Tyler Rich's house on that night, how many people were at Tyler Rich's house? Do you recall?
Around 30 people.
And what kinds of things were going on at Tyler Rich's house?
Drinking, social gathering, just hanging out with friends.
When you say drinking, what kind of things were people drinking?
Beer.
And how did you get to Tyler Rich's house?
I drove.
And when you got to Tyler Rich's house initially, did you have anything to drink at that point?
No.
Why not?
Because I was driving.
How long would you say you were at Tyler Rich's house for initially in the beginning?
Probably half an hour to 45 minutes.
And after about half hour to 45 minutes, did you have an occasion to leave Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Why did you leave?
I received a call from a friend, Ryan Hines, that he has just gone to a fight and kicked out of a party and wanted to see if I could pick him up.
And did you, in fact, go pick him up?
Yes.
Where did you go?
To this girl named Natalia's house. I don't know her address. It's in Shelton.
How'd you get there?
I drove.
Okay, did you put a GPS on and kind of follow Waze or something?
Yeah.
So when you got to Natalia's house, who did you pick Ryan up?
Yes, I picked up Ryan and Griffin Marcinzik.
And when you picked up Ryan and Griffin, did you leave Natalia's house immediately?
Yes.
When you picked them up, was it just the two of them?
Yes.
Did Ryan have anything with him?
I don't recall.
You don't recall? Do you recall whether or not, did you see either Griffin or Ryan drinking that night?
Yes, they were drinking.
Were they drinking before or after they got to Tyler Rich's house?
Let's say before.
At some point in time, you brought him back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
And when you got back to Tyler Rich's house, actually withdrawn, on the way over to Tyler Rich's house, did you talk to Griffin and Ryan about what had happened earlier on in the night?
Yes.
And did they inform you about what had happened?
Yes.
And at some point in time, you got back to Tyler Rich's house. Were you aware of a group chat that was going on at all?
No, I was not.
And when you got back to Tyler Rich's house, how did you guys go in the house? Do you recall?
Through the basement doors.
Okay. And where are the basement doors located?
On the right side of his house.
And when you got back down there, what happened when you got back down to the basement?
Same stuff that was going on before. Talking, people asking questions to Ryan and Griffin at what happened to you guys.
Now, are you familiar with Faison Teal?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Faison?
Classmate, grade above me. Just known him for we played football together.
Showing you States 54. Who is this individual?
That's Faison Teal.
Was he at Tyler Rich's house that night?
Yes.
Did you have occasion to talk to him that night?
Yeah.
States 55. Can you tell us who this is?
That's my brother, Tommy Connolly.
And was he at Tyler's house that night?
Yes.
And States 57. Do you know who this is?
That's Jimmy McGrath.
And how do you know Jimmy?
Football, basketball teammate growing up, childhood friend. I hung with him every weekend.
Was he at Tyler Rich's house that night?
Yes, he was.
Did you have an occasion to talk to Jimmy throughout the night that night?
Yes, we had a conversation.
When you got back to Tyler Rich's house, did you drink anything?
After picking up Griffin and Hines?
Yes.
Yes.
What did you drink?
I had 2 Bud Lights.
And what time would you say you got back to Tyler Rich's house at that point? When you got back initially?
Around 11, maybe earlier.
Okay. And at some point in time when you were back at Tyler Rich's house, did you become aware of any type of group chat that was going on at that point?
No.
How long would you say you were back at Tyler Rich's house before withdrawing? Did you become aware at some point that a car had arrived in front of Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
How did you become aware of that?
I've heard that the kids that just fought Ryan and Griffin were outside, so I went outside to go talk to them.
Now, prior to the car showing up, how long would you say you were back at Tyler Rich's house for? What was that?
Half an hour, maybe a little bit more.
Okay. And when you went outside, do you recall how you went outside?
Yes.
How did you go outside?
I went to the basement doors, so around the front yard.
Okay.
And the car was across the street of the front yard, and I went over and talked to the person in the passenger seat.
So States 49. Can you indicate on States 49 where you saw the car pull up initially?
Like the beginning of the road on the right side, going down the road, facing down the road, right there.
Right here? So facing this way or facing this way?
Facing that way.
Facing up?
Yeah.
Okay, so the record can reflect the witnesses identified the area just north of the intersection of Adams and Laurel Glen, just to the left of where it appears to be a group of trees on the property across from 43 Laurel Glen.
Longest description ever.
And you walked over to the car?
Yes.
Do you recall who you walked over to the car with? Was there anybody with you?
I don't recall.
Was there people with you though when you walked over?
Yes.
How many people would you say were with you at the time?
8 to 10.
And when you walked over, you spoke to somebody in the car?
Yes.
What side of the car did you speak to them?
Passenger side.
Passenger, so the right side of the car, if the car's looking that way?
Yes.
Okay, front passenger or rear passenger?
Front.
And who did you speak to in the front passenger?
Tyler De Silva.
And what kinds of things were you telling him?
I asked him what he did, and I was with him the week before, and I told him that, like, I like you, like, I think you're a good kid. I know your cousins. I grew up with them. And I said, just leave. Like, just don't want any problems. Just leave.
And how do you know Tyler De Silva?
I know his cousins from growing up playing baseball. And a week prior to that, I was with Tyler De Silva and his friends.
Okay. Did you notice anybody else in the car at this point in time?
Yes.
Who else did you notice?
Jack Snyder.
And where was Jack Snyder?
Driving.
How do you know Jack Snyder?
I was also with him the week before that.
Did you notice anybody else in the car at this point?
Yes, but I couldn't recognize faces. It was.
Okay, so you knew there were other people in the car, but you didn't know who it was?
I knew who it was.
Who else did you recognize?
Raul Valle.
Okay, and how do you know Raul?
The St. Joe student was also with him a week before that.
And is Raul Valle present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And what is he wearing?
A black suit and black tie.
Can you please point him out for the record? And the record reflect you're on the witness identified the defendant in this case?
Or it will reflect on the record that the witness has identified Mr. Valle. Thank you.
Now, do you know Ricky Fiola?
Yes.
Do you know Sal Perry?
Yes.
Do you know Mike Sampieri?
Yes.
Do you know Alex Bernstein?
Yes.
Do you know Jake Villalobos?
Yes.
Do you know Matthew Lakovich?
Yes.
How do you know those individuals?
All friends growing up.
And were they present at
Yes.
Tyler Rich's house that night? So now you said you were talking to Tyler Rich, or Tyler De Silva, excuse me, initially in front of the 43 Laurel Glen. Did you notice, was the defendant saying anything or doing anything at this point?
I did not notice.
How long would you say your conversation lasted for with Tyler De Silva at that car?
Not even 30 seconds.
Do you recall what kind of car it was, by the way?
Dark SUV.
Okay. And so it was, you said 30 seconds?
Yeah.
At some point in time, well, withdrawn, was the conversation with Tyler De Silva, was it cordial? Was it peaceful?
It was peaceful.
At some point in time, did the interaction between either you and Mr. De Silva or anybody else around you in the car become not peaceful?
Not that I'm aware of.
What happened after that period of time speaking with Mr. De Silva?
I walked away and I went towards the front lawn where all the other rest of the party was there, just watching, just was talking with them.
So you had a conversation with Mr. De Silva in the street area for about 30 seconds and then you walked away?
Yes.
Where did you walk to? Can you tell us on State 49?
In the driveway, a little bit to the left, like by like the lawn and like near the white car, kind of.
Like right, probably this area here?
A little bit more up though, or like down, like on the lawn.
Down here?
Yes.
Okay. So if the record can reflect the witnesses identifying in States 49 the front right passenger side wheel of this white pickup truck. On the grass. So when you were in that area, were you able to observe things that were going on at the car at that point, or what were you doing when you went back to that area?
I wasn't really paying attention to the car, but I was just talking with friends, like, I don't recall what we were talking about, but just talking with them.
Now, how many people were in your area at that point in time? Do you remember?
Around 20.
20, okay. So about 10 kids or so at the car, and then 20 like back at near your area? At some point in time, did you have an occasion to see the car leave for any reason?
Yes.
Do you know why the car left?
No.
Do you recall hearing or seeing any type of altercation that happened at the car?
When the car was not moving?
Right.
No.
So when the car left, which way did it go? Did it go up in States 49, or did it go back towards Adams?
It went up.
Okay. And when it went up, tell us what you observed about what the car did.
When it went up, since there was people around the car, it sped off very, very fast, and kids got out the way. And then it turned around and came back, and stuff was thrown out. And then people picked up their stuff that was with our friends, and we threw stuff back while I was going back and forth speeding the car.
Were you involved in that at all?
No, I was not.
So did you stay in the area in front, on the grass area where you just described in States 49 when this was happening?
Yes.
How many times would you say the car drove up and down the street?
3 to 4.
And at some point in time, did it stop?
Yes.
And when it stopped, what did you do?
Stopped at the end of the road, north all the way down.
If I may approach the witness, Your Honor. Stage 1. Show us on stage 1 where the car stopped.
At the intersection of Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Lane.
So in this area here. Yes. And when you saw the car stop down in that area, what did you observe about it at that point? Did you observe the car just stopped, or tell us what you saw?
I noticed that 2 individuals got out of the car. So me and a couple of my friends went down there to talk to them.
And when you say a couple of your friends, you recall who you were with?
Yes.
Who were you with?
Ty Wood, Matt Lokovich, Ricky Fiola, Tyler Rich. That's about it.
So you went down the street?
Mm-hmm.
When you went down the street, did you go in a big mob? How did you make your way down the street?
A couple kids were farther up than me. We kind of went individual, or like in as twos, not as in a group.
Who were you closer to? Do you recall?
Ty Wood.
And who was further down the street? Do you know who was further down the street?
Tyler Rich and Ricky Fiola.
Okay. And when you got down, how far did you get down the street, would you say, that night?
So where they were in the intersection.
And did you witness any interactions with anybody?
Yes.
What did you witness about any interactions at them?
I witnessed that Ricky Fiola was talking to Raul Valle, and that me, Matt Lokovich, and Ty were talking to Tyler De Silva.
And what were you guys talking about with him? What did you say to him? Did you say anything to him at that point?
Told him to leave. Said, buy the car, leave.
And did you, Ty Wood, or anybody else that you were with, engage in any fighting behavior down Laurel Glen at that point in time?
No.
Did you witness Ricky Fiola and the defendant speaking to each other?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear what the defendant was saying at any point during that interaction?
No, I did not.
How long would you say the interaction was between you and Mr. De Silva down the street when you told him to leave?
10 seconds.
And after you told him to leave, what did you do?
Turned around and walked back.
Walked back to Mr. Rich's house?
Mm-hmm.
And how long would you say, did you observe the entire interaction between Mr. Fiola and the defendant?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay. Were they still talking when you turned around and walked back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, did you make it all the way back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Did you walk back by yourself?
No.
Tell me about how you made it from where Tyler Rich was to back to 43 Laurel Glen.
I walked back with Ty Wood and Matt Locke, and the rest jogged up and caught up to us, and then we walked back together.
And did you discuss anything with Ron? Who caught up with you and walked back with you at that point in time? Do you recall?
Ricky Fiola, Tyler Rich, Matt Locke, Ty Wood.
And did you guys discuss what had happened down the street?
Yes.
And in particular, did you have a conversation with Ricky Fiola?
Yes, I did.
And after that conversation happened, did you guys all make your way back into Mr. Rich's basement?
Yes.
And how long would you say you were back in the basement for?
30 seconds.
And at some point in time, did you exit the basement after 30 seconds?
Yes.
Why did you exit the basement?
I was told that they're back.
And when you were told that they were back, how did you get out of the basement? Same way you went in?
Same way I went in.
And when you came out of the basement, where did you go? Do you recall where you went?
Yes.
Stage 4. Can you see in stage 4 where you went?
Yes, I was hanging out by the basement doors and slowly creeping up, but I kept my distance from what was going on.
What was going on when you came outside?
It was like I saw people like lined up face to face, like talking to each other.
Show you stage 6. Can you show me in stage 6 where you saw people lined up?
Towards the left, by between like the bush and the truck.
So somewhere in this area here?
Yes. Yes.
And who was in that area at the time when you came outside?
I saw Ty Wood, Ryan Hines, Tyler Rich, Tyler Da Silva, and Raul Valle.
And what were you observing about all of them?
They were just face to face talking.
Who was face to face talking to Tyler Da Silva? Do you recall?
Tyler Rich.
And who was anybody talking to the defendant?
Yes.
And who was talking to the defendant?
Ryan Hines and Ty Wood.
And do you recall? Can you tell us on this exhibit here, stage 6, where was Tyler Da Silva standing as opposed to where was the defendant standing? Can you show us in this exhibit?
Tyler Da Silva was more to the left, like was to the left side, and Raul was to the right. They were next to each other, but Raul was on the right and Tyler was on the left.
So Raul was probably closer to this red bush here.
Yes, and Tyler was closer to the truck. They were right next to each other.
And when they were talking, describe what the conversation was like when they were face to face?
I wasn't close enough to hear.
So you just heard, what did you hear? Were they just talking, or were they, was it loud?
It seemed more not peaceful as the other conversations were. It seemed like something was stirring up, that they're getting louder and louder, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
So were you still back by the Bilko doors?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
You were witnessing this from back where this in stage 6. You see there's like this AC unit back here. Were you back over here?
Yes.
But could you, from your vantage point, could you see what was going on? How could you see what was going on over here?
From the clear view.
Were there lights?
Yes, there was a garage light shined right at them.
Did anybody else have their phones out? Was there lights on at this point?
No, not that I'm aware of.
But from that vantage, how far do you think it is from this area where the AC unit is next to the Bilko door to where this area is here?
About 20 feet.
20 feet. So you could see what's going on. You could hear what's going on. Could you make out the exact words that people were saying? I mean,
at the time, maybe, but I don't recall what they were saying.
Okay, that's fine. How long would you say the conversation lasted for between the parties?
That conversation right there?
Yeah.
10 to 15 seconds.
And after 10 to 15 seconds, what, if anything, did you observe?
I observed Raul making a movement and Tyler Rich coming across and punching him in the face.
Now when this was going on, when you were observing and listening to what was going on, were you making your way closer to?
Yes.
Okay. And so at some point in time, prior to the punch that you saw, how close were you in this exhibit? Can you tell us?
A little bit farther from me to you right now.
Okay, so probably about 10 feet.
This cameraman needs to make the transition faster.
And at that point in time, you saw the defendant make a move?
Yes.
What was the move like? Can you describe what it was like? Can you show us?
I like something like that, but like something like this with no contact though. like just went like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying to do, but Tyler Rich came across and punched him in the face.
And when Tyler Rich came across and punched him in the face, what happened after that?
Two fights kind of broke out separate ways, and I just watched my brother run over to the fight that was going towards the left side, which I saw Ryan Hines and Faison Teal over there with Raul Valle fighting him, and I saw my brother running over there, so then I started running over there.
So you started, when you say you started running over there, let me see.
This is stage 52. Can you show us on stage 52
Where you said the fights broke up or
Yes.
spread out? Can you show us on stage 52?
started here and I went towards this way?
That's where you walked.
That's where I walked.
And where was the fight going towards the right there?
Around right here.
Okay. So they were closer to the house when the fight started?
Yes. There was around right here. One guy went this way, and there's five.
Okay. And you started following the fight to the left?
Yes.
And that was the fight that involved who?
My brother, Tommy Connery, Ryan Hines, and Faison Teal.
And what did you observe about that fight when you were following it?
Well, I ran over there, and then by the time I got there, I didn't do anything. I just stood and watched, and I saw Tommy sort of standing over him as well, but more in it. I saw Ryan like on top of him, and I saw Faison also like more like on top of him, like not on top of him, but like next to him, like fighting.
So is there a path of travel, we'll say, that the fight took when you were observing this? Did it stay in one area or did it constantly move?
It first stayed in one area, but then everyone got off of Raul, and then he walked away, and that fight was over.
Can you show me like where that all happened, to the best of your recollection?
Like happened over here.
Yeah.
Then everyone like got off there, and like all like walked like towards this way. Around.
Okay. And when you saw that happen, where did you follow?
Yeah, I followed him.
Show me the path that you followed.
I kept the far distance from him the whole entire time. And when he was like over here, I was over here. And he made his way this way, I was over here.
Keep my distance from him, but keep my eye on him.
Why did you do that?
Because I was aware that he had a knife.
And
how were you aware?
Did you engage in the fight at all?
No.
So what did you observe when you walked? So you did like correct me if I'm wrong, you did like almost like a semicircle?
Yes.
And what did you observe about the defendant as you're doing this semicircle?
I observed when he got out of the fight, some people pushed him to get even more out of the way and get him into the road and get him out of here and like just have him leave. And I just kept observing him walking, and I watched him walk towards the car.
Okay. So let me stop you there. Can I just take a second? So this is stage 52. So you witnessed the fight happen somewhere in this area here?
Yeah.
Just above the so the initial interaction between the Silver and the defendant were in this area here between next to the black truck.
Yeah.
Stage 52. Fight breaks out. Silva gets pushed back this way towards where the tree is in stage 52.
Yes.
And the fight between the defendant Hines, your brother, and Teal is somewhere in this area here.
Yes.
And I'm pointing to the area north of the red tree in stage 52 on the left-hand side. So at some point in time, say the fight, they let off of them?
Yes.
And you kind of follow this area, when you semicircle, the defendant makes his way over here, and you see another group push him out. So you tell us about that.
I saw like a couple kids like just give him like a little shove to just get him off the property.
Show me where you saw that happen.
Around here and just put him up here, and I wanted to step back.
Okay. So in stage 52, we're talking about the right-hand side of the photo, Your Honor, near the curve, probably just south of the right red bush.
The other red bush.
And when you saw that happen, did your attention go anywhere else at that point?
No.
Now, was your eye on the defendant the entire time that this was going on?
Yes.
Do you know if Jimmy McGrath was involved in the fight when the fight was going on over here?
No.
Initially with the defendant and
your brother, Faison, and Ryan, you was not there. Was Jimmy McGrath involved in anything going on to the right over here? No. Do you know where Jimmy McGrath was at this point in time? No. Okay. And when you came and did the semicircle, at some point in time, did you notice Jimmy McGrath at some point? When I was going to circle around here? Yeah. No, I still there. Okay. At what point did you see Jimmy McGrath outside at some point? Yes. After.
This doesn't help with him talking to the wall.
When you did the semicircle, you said you noticed the defendant walk back to the car? Yes. Tell me where you saw him walk back to the car. Well, that's the car over here. Okay. And when I was following him, I was like over here, got my eye on him, and he opens the door, and then he closes it, and he goes right back in, and I start yelling,
He has a knife, he has a knife, he has a knife, because I thought he just went and grabbed it, but unfortunately I was wrong.
And when you yelled that he had a knife, did you see him have a knife on him at that point in time?
No.
What did you observe about the defendant when he came back onto the property?
I saw him next to Tyler Da Silva, and they were both in the road, and no one was going after them. No one was going near them. They were just, everyone was just looking at each other, and then the defendant went after the closest person to him, who was Jimmy McGrath, and stabbed him.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath tried to engage withdrawing? Did you see Jimmy McGrath at this point in time, just prior to the defendant stabbing Jimmy?
I saw him right before, right before he got stabbed.
Did it appear that Jimmy McGrath, was he trying to engage the defendant?
No, he wasn't.
Did it appear did Jimmy have a weapon on him that night?
Totally did not.
Did Jimmy approach the defendant in any manner whatsoever, from your perspective?
No, he didn't.
So tell us about what you saw. He comes onto the grass area. When he's on the grass area, do you know where the rest of the people are at this point in time?
Sort of stepping back a little bit from Raul and Tyler Silva, because they've heard that I've yelled he had a knife, and people were kind of stepping back to where they were, like more towards the middle of the lawn, or somewhere around the lawn, not near the road. And the defendant went after the closest person to him, which was Jimmy.
So where was Jimmy standing that you recall?
Around here.
Okay, so that's just to the right. It's like on States 52, just upwards and just slightly to the right of where the mailbox was. Yeah. There is. So take us through it. He comes back on the lawn, you scream he's got a knife, and then where's Jimmy's where? When he's on the lawn. When the defendant's on the lawn, where's Jimmy?
When the defendant comes back, he's over here, and Jimmy's around over here.
Okay.
And everyone's around here, now I'm like right here. And then the defendant comes on the lawn, and Jimmy's right here.
And tell me what you saw at that point.
I saw the defendant
go after Jimmy aggressively, and Jimmy was trying to get away, and he stabbed him.
Did you see Jimmy take a step back? What did you see?
I saw Jimmy trying to avoid it.
Yeah. And what happened?
Didn't.
And where did you see him stab Jimmy McGrath?
Sort of like, from my point of view, it looked like the upper stomach range, like lower chest, like right around here.
Okay. So if the record can reflect, Your Honor, he's indicating on his own body just the upper stomach area below the left chest area. And when you saw the defendant stab Jimmy, what, if anything, did you observe or hear next?
I yelled out Jimmy's name twice, saying Jimmy, Jimmy, and he turned around and said, "I've been stabbed." And then the next second, he collapsed to the ground.
And when he collapsed, what, if anything, did you do next?
I froze, and I saw a couple people running towards him, and I just started hearing screams of someone yelling, "I need stitches, I need stitches."
Do you know who that was?
Yes, I turned around and saw my brother on the ground, just like covered in blood.
And where was your brother? If you can use States 52, do you recall where you saw your brother?
I was right here, and Jimmy was right here, and I like that.
So your brother was back on the other side of maybe where that tree is?
Yeah.
Yes.
And was there anybody with him at this point in time? Do you recall?
Yes, Will Berardi was with him.
And who was Will Berardi?
He's my cousin.
And when you saw your brother, did you go to your brother at that point?
Yes.
And what did you observe about where was he stabbed? You recall?
Above his left leg, above his knee.
Was that the first time you realized that your brother had been stabbed?
Yes.
What was his leg like when you saw that?
Bloody, like multiple wounds.
And after, did you try to help your brother out?
Yeah, I immediately ripped my shirt off and tied it around his leg to form pressure. And then my brother's friends told me to walk away, that they had him and I wouldn't. And then my brother was looking at me and he's saying that, go help Jimmy, I'll be fine. And then I walked away.
So when your brother said that, did you go and try to help Jimmy?
I walked over there and there was a lot of people around him to the point I wouldn't even make room over there. But I walked over and I saw the condition Jimmy McGrath was in. And I just turned around and walked away.
What did you notice about Jimmy's condition at that point in time?
Very pale, a lot of blood, shorts covered in red.
Did you notice if anybody else was stabbed that night?
When I walked around, I noticed that Ryan Hines and Faison Teal were also stabbed.
And, at some point in time, did somebody call the police?
Yes.
Who called the police?
Will Berardi called the police. I'm aware of that. I'm assuming multiple people also did. I know that Will Berardi did.
And did the police at some point arrive?
Yes.
And did you speak to the police that night?
Yes, I did.
And did you tell them everything you told us here today?
Yes, I did.
Now, I'll show you state 60. We've slowed it down in areas. I want to just make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Camera has to go up and over the jury so we don't show the jury. That's why we keep seeing the ceiling like this. But
Have you seen the video of this fight?
Yes, I have.
Now, can you tell us prior to us starting it, whether or not, does this video show the entire fight of what happened on May 14th, 2022?
No, it doesn't.
And in recalling, in seeing this, do you recall at what point we see the video start? Do you recall? Well, we'll watch it. I'll tell you when it's done.
there we go. Watch the whole thing, please.
So you see this area here of kids that just went over this way to the right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the period of time where you testified prior to that there were kids pushing the defendant out to the street?
Yes.
And this individual down here, do you recall seeing this individual in the blue on the ground?
No, I don't.
Okay, so your focus is over here?
Yes.
Okay, and do you recall, using state 60, where are you at this point in time?
I'm walking around towards near where people are getting pushed out.
So is this you right here in the black shorts and white shirt?
That could be.
You're filming?
You're witnessing what's going on?
Yes.
Did you get involved in the fight?
No, I did not.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath was involved over here?
No, he wasn't.
And at some point in time, you say this defendant goes back to the
Yes.
Yes, sir!
Watch it in slow motion.
Stop right there. Now, who's this individual coming into the frame right here on the right?
That's me.
And do you recall where Jimmy was at this point in time?
No, I do not.
Do you know who this is with the blue shirt and white pants?
Yes, that's Jimmy.
At that point in time, do you recall seeing Jimmy?
Yes.
And do you recall if he was fighting with anybody at that point?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, good. Now, you see, who's that being pushed out to the street?
Tyler De Silva.
Well, you remember seeing that on the night question?
Yes.
You remember the defendant coming back onto the property at that point?
Yes.
And is this the point in time where you testified on direct earlier that people were just standing there and there was no more?
Yes.
And
a lot of leading
at
here.
this point in time, when the defendant is coming back onto the property, what is happening? Because you can see part of the video. We don't see what's at some point goes out of view. What do you recall happening at this moment?
People looking at them too, backing up a little bit, and no one fighting, no one like saying words or anything, just looking at each other. Like,
do you recall what the defendant did when he came back on the property? Did he slip and fall?
no, he went after the closest person to him, which was Jimmy, and with a purpose, and stabbed him.
Do you recall whether or not Matt Lockovich was close to Jimmy at this point in time?
Yes, he was.
Okay. But Jimmy was closer to the defendant?
Yes.
And how close would you say Jimmy was to the defendant just prior to this slide here? Or this is frame 426. How close was Jimmy at this point in time?
5 to 10 feet.
At that point in time, what are you witnessing here?
I see Jimmy avoiding someone stepping back.
So frame 535, Jimmy is actually stepping back. Is that the point where you see him get stabbed by the defendant?
3 seconds right after that, yes.
Now, after this happened, about you said you spoke to the police how many times?
I saw them twice that night.
Do you remember speaking to them on about 3 weeks later, June 8th? Did you do any type of walkthrough with?
Yeah, I did a walkthrough.
And what do you remember what you told the police with regards to where Jimmy was stabbed?
Like on his body where?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you recall if you ever told him that he was stabbed in the gut?
I said he was stabbed in the stomach, the upper region of it.
Why would you say that he was stabbed in the stomach?
Because from my angle, that's what it looked like.
So when he's stepping back,
it looked like below his chest, like from just below his chest down, like for that's his stomach. So the upper region of that.
Okay.
So I told him he got stabbed in the stomach because when it happened, I didn't know how he was going to be.
Now, when the defendant stabs Mr. McGrath, what, if anything, did you observe? Did you observe him pull the knife out of his chest?
I observed his fist like this, and from the light of the house, the light from the car around, I was able to see something shining with his hand like this, shining out of it.
Okay. So he goes up, stabs like this, and then pulls out, and you see it?
Yes.
And then when he pulls the knife out of his chest, what do you see the defendant do next?
Run to the car.
Does he get back to the car?
Yeah.
Do you see him get in the car?
Yes.
Do you see De Silva follow him to the car? What do you see? Do you know what happened to De Silva after that?
I assume he was in the car, but I didn't see him.
You didn't see where he went? Okay. When the defendant got back to the car, by the way, which way was the car facing when it came back? Was it facing towards Adams or towards Farmhouse?
Towards Adams.
And when they got back into the car at that point in time, which way did you see the car leave?
Yeah.
Where did it leave?
Towards Adams.
Okay. At that point in time, did you ever see the car after that night?
No, I didn't.
How would you describe the situation both during and after the fight at the house?
After the fight?
Yeah, during and after. Was it chaotic?
Yeah, at first it was like chaotic, and then after it was completely worse, and like just people screaming, people trying to stay calm, people trying to give aid to people that were bleeding, and the neighbors came and helped, and it was just people running around calling the cops. Ambulance showed up. The cops drove down the wrong road, and I had to run out and chase them to tell them that I was this way because I saw them miss the house, and just running around. And then actually had to calm down and stay calm and be calm in that moment, and just see what was going on, see everyone, talk to them, like make sure everyone's just helping, and that was really it.
I can't remember if I asked this question, but I'm gonna ask you. When the defendant was talking to he was talking to Tywood before the fight starts. Is he arguing with Tywood?
Not that I'm aware of. They were talking. It was high pitched. I didn't know if they were arguing or they were just talking loud. I'm assuming they were probably arguing, but I don't know.
Were you not close enough to really hear, other than it was loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that night, did you see Jimmy McGrath with a knife in his hand at this point in time?
Jimmy with a knife?
Or with any type of weapon?
No.
Did you see Tyler DeSilva with a weapon in his hand that night?
No, I did not.
Did any of your friends, see any of your friends with any types of weapons in their hands, both before, during, and after the fight?
No one had weapons.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the only sober one at the party. 0 beers.
Ms. Smith, I'm assuming you're not going to finish your cross-examination within the next 10, 15 minutes. So if you could just let me know when you find a good place to stop.
Yes, Your Honor.
Going for our lunch break. Thank you.
Did he say 2 beers? I thought he said 0. I thought he said he hadn't had any. Did I mishear
Good
that?
afternoon, Mr. Connery.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We've never met before. Correct.
2 when he came back. Okay.
Sorry. I'll repeat what the state's attorney told you. You got to keep your voice up because we got to compete with this fan that's going. And then you've also got to say whatever you're going to answer, whether that's yes, no, or something else. It has to be audible so that the court reporter can record it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were telling us before about the evening of May 14th of 2022.
Yes.
And what you recall, right?
Yes.
And you're testifying here today after you told us you'd met with the state's attorney 2 times?
Yes.
That's it?
That was it.
Okay. And you also have viewed the video that we saw here before, Exhibit 60, correct?
Yes.
When was the first time you saw that video?
Probably a week after it happened.
A week after it happened?
Yeah.
And how did you see that video the week after?
Someone showed me.
Do you remember who?
No, I do not.
One of your friends?
Yeah.
And when they showed that video to you, did you tell the police about that?
The police already knew.
They already knew at that point? How many times do you think you've seen that video now as you sit here?
Around 10 times.
You told us that you were a 16-year-old junior at Shelton High School on May 14th of 2022, right?
Yes.
And you were a rising senior?
Yes.
And you were playing baseball?
Yes.
Did you play any other sports at Shelton High?
Not that year. That year I only played baseball, but I played football when I was a freshman.
Okay. And most of the kids that were at Tyler Rich's, they were older than you, correct?
Yes.
And they were also members of the football team?
Yes.
Many of them were either seniors or had graduated, right?
Yes.
So you were one of the younger members there, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And Griffin Marcinzik and Ryan Hines were also younger than most of the other folks there, right?
Yes.
And you told us that Ryan Hines was a friend and a baseball teammate of yours?
Yes.
And that Griffin Marcinzik you'd known longer, since childhood, right?
Yes.
Because Ryan Hines didn't come into the Shelton High School system until freshman year of high school?
Yes, around 8th grade.
8th grade? Okay. But you'd become close with him?
Yeah, very close.
Close enough that after this fight that he described to you at 5 Lazy Brook, he called you to come and pick him up?
Yes.
And he also told you that he had Griffin Marcinzik with him?
Yes.
And you went to pick them up, you told us, about a half an hour to 45 minutes after you'd gotten to Tyler Rich's house the first time, right?
Yes.
So would that be somewhere between 10:30 and 11 o'clock, do you think, that you went to pick them up?
Around there, yeah.
Because you told us you got to Tyler Rich's house initially between 9:30 and 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you spent about 30 to 45 minutes there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you think it was somewhere between 10:30 and 11 that you drove to pick them up?
Yes.
How far away was that drive to Natalia Ritzik's house?
8 minutes, 9, 10, depends on red light, green light. It's not that far.
It's not that far.
Red light, green light.
And you said when you picked them up, Ryan Hines didn't have anything with him?
But I don't recall if he did.
But you told us that you thought they were drinking, right?
Yeah.
Before you'd picked them up?
Yeah.
Why did you think they were drinking before you picked them up?
Because when I was talking to them on the phone, they said they had their beer taken from them.
And you told us that on the way to Tyler Rich's house, you talked about what had happened at 5 Lacybrook, right?
Yes.
And then when you got back, and you were unaware at that point of a group chat that was going on?
No, I had no idea about that.
Did you see either Mr. Hines or Mr. Marcinzik on their phones?
Yeah, they're on their phones.
Did they appear to be excited?
No.
Did they appear to be upset?
Sort of, yeah.
And they weren't, did they tell you that they were in communication with any of the kids that they thought had been involved in the fight at 5 Lacybrook?
No.
But when you got back to the basement, you said people were at Tyler Rich's house. You said people were already talking about the fight at 5 Lacybrook.
No, when we got there and I walked in with Ryan and Griffin, they asked and they came up to him and said, "Hey, what happened?"
Just like that? Hey, what happened?
Well, we heard about it. That's why I went and picked him up. Because before I told them that, oh, Ryan and Griffin just got in a fight. You guys, Tyler, do you guys care if I bring him here? And they're like, oh, we don't care. So when we got there, they're already aware about the fight, so they went and asked.
Okay. And how many people came up to ask about what happened at 5 Lacybrook?
Around 10 people.
And one of those was Jimmy McGrath?
No.
No, Jimmy McGrath wasn't one of the first people to ask?
No, I didn't see Jimmy talk to Ryan Hines at all.
You didn't see Jimmy McGrath talk to Ryan Hines at all?
No.
Had you been at Nikki DeJesus's house earlier that evening with Jimmy McGrath?
No, I wasn't there.
But you saw him in that picture, exhibit number 57?
Yes.
And you know that to be Nikki DeJesus's basement?
Yes.
And you saw Faison Teal there in the basement, correct?
Yes.
You saw your brother there in the basement?
Yes.
Had he been there earlier when you left?
Yeah, he was there before me.
Okay. Did you both drive there together to?
No, separately.
Separately. And so when you got to Tyler Rich's house, where did you park?
On the side of the road, kind of farther up, if you're looking at one of the maps, farther up, facing towards, I don't know the coordinates, but towards up his house. If you're driving to his house, it's like up more.
Towards Farmhouse Lane?
Yes, that way.
And you were parked on Laurel Glen facing towards Farmhouse Lane, down further towards Farmhouse Lane.
I was parked facing Adams, but more towards Farmhouse Lane, like up there more.
Okay.
So like when I got there, I turned around and parked on the right side, facing that way.
Gotcha. So you drove down towards Farmhouse Lane, turned around, came back a little bit, and now you're parked facing Adams. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And there were other cars parked in the road, right? And there were cars parked in the driveway, right?
Yes.
And so it was a little crowded in the street?
A little bit, yeah.
When you got back to the house, was there anybody, Tyler Rich's house, was there anybody in the front lawn?
When I got back with Griffin and Ryan to pick them up? Not that I recall. We went straight to the basement, didn't talk to anyone. We went right down there.
And you told us that you'd had 2 Bud Lights in the basement, right?
Yes.
And that was around 11 o'clock that you got back?
Yes.
And again, you said to the state's attorney that you had not become aware of a group chat that was going on, right?
No, I didn't know about that.
But you did become aware of a car that was parked in the front of 43 Laurel Glen Drive, right?
Yes.
And you said you heard that the car with kids who fought Ryan Hines was there, right?
Yes.
So as you went out through the basement doors, your understanding was that the kids who had gotten into the fight with your friend Ryan Hines were now parked in a car outside the house.
Yes.
And you said you walked outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who else was with you when you walked outside?
At that point?
Yes.
I don't recall.
Do you remember anybody being with you?
I remember a party going outside and a lot of people staying in the front lawn and then 10 of us approaching the car. I remember Tyler Richard going approaching the car. Other people too, but I couldn't say who else was with me because I went on the other side of the car on my own. Okay. Everyone was on the driver's side. I went to the passenger side.
Okay. So you recall the party emptied out of the basement and went into the front lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Some folks you claim stayed on the front lawn.
Yes, most of them stay in the front lawn.
Most of them. And 8 to 10 people, including yourself, walked across the street to where the car was parked.
Yes.
And you told us that you went to talk to the passenger, correct?
Yes.
And that passenger you identified for us, that was the front passenger?
Yes.
And that was Tyler DeSilva, right?
Yes.
And you knew Tyler DeSilva, correct?
Yes.
From having grown up and known his cousins?
I was friends with his cousins, and I knew that was one of their cousins. And just so happened a weekend before that, I was at a place in Shellen, and those kids were there, that friend group, and I met him there.
Okay. And you said that you had a pretty peaceful discussion with Tyler DeSilva. I like you. You're a good kid. I know your cousins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he threaten you in any way?
No.
Was his window down or up?
It was down.
All the way?
Yeah.
And the rear passenger window, was that down?
I don't think so, no.
Did you talk to anybody in the rear passenger side?
No, I didn't.
Could you see anybody inside the vehicle?
Yeah.
Could you identify who was sitting in the rear passenger side?
No, I couldn't.
Could you identify anybody that was sitting in the back seat?
I noticed the defendant was behind the driver's side, and I couldn't. I noticed two kids in the middle and next to him behind the passenger, but I didn't know who they were, so I didn't know who I don't have names to their face.
Okay. Could you tell if there was anybody in the trunk area?
No, I couldn't.
And you told us that among this group of 8 to 10 people was Ricky Fiola?
Going towards the car?
Yes.
No, I didn't see Ricky with me. I saw Tyler Rich go up. Maybe Ryan Hines. I don't recall everyone that went there, but I don't remember seeing Ricky over there.
Do you remember seeing Sal Perry there?
At the car? No, yeah, again, no.
Do you remember seeing Michael Samperi at the car?
No.
Do you remember seeing Alex Bernstein at the car?
No.
Do you remember seeing Jacob Villalobos at the car?
No.
Do you remember seeing Matthew Lakovich at the car?
No, it could have been them, but I just don't recall who stayed on the lawn, who didn't.
Do you recall seeing Tanner Chernowski at the car?
I don't know.
Do you know Tanner Chernowski?
Yeah, I know Tanner.
How do you know Tanner Chernowski?
He's my brother's age. He grew up with my brother, played sports with him, and I always knew him just as one of my older brother's friends, and then we became friends eventually.
Okay. And you said you didn't notice Mr. Valle doing or saying anything while you were there at the car?
No, I didn't.
And you said that your conversation with Tyler DeSilva lasted about 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
That interaction never became anything other than peaceful, correct?
With me and Tyler Silva?
That's correct.
Yes.
And you said at that point you turned and walked into the driveway by the lawn?
Yes.
And you weren't paying attention to the car at that point. You were just talking to friends, you said?
Yes.
How far away from the car were you at that point when you were just talking to friends?
Across the street, so whatever the street distance is, around there.
Was this a larger than normal street, or was this your typical street?
Typical back road street.
And at this point, you said there are 20 of you in the lawn driveway area and still 10 by the car, right?
Yes.
And then you saw the car leave?
Yes.
And you never saw anybody put their hands on the car?
No, I never saw that.
You never saw anybody kick the car?
No.
You never saw anybody throw anything at the car?
I did say I saw people do that.
While the car was still sitting there, or when it was driving up?
I back and forth. I saw people throw stuff at the car.
I want to focus on before the car leaves to drive away, okay?
Yes, sir.
You never saw anybody throwing anything at the car at that point?
No.
Never saw anybody throw anything out of the car at that point.
No.
You never saw anybody climb on top of the car at that point.
No.
You never saw the car rocking at that point.
No.
You never heard anything shatter as far as the car goes.
No.
You never saw anybody on the rear of the vehicle bouncing up and down.
No.
But then at some point you saw the car leave, you told us.
Yes.
And you don't recall any altercation that preceded that. It just sped off down the road.
Yes.
And then you told us it came back and forth a few times, right? 3 to 4 times?
Yes.
Again, you stayed in the grassy area at that point, right?
Yes.
And then the car stopped at the intersection of Laurel Glen Drive and Farmhouse Lane.
Yes.
Your Honor, I think this might be a good time to take a break.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to go ahead and move into our lunch recess. So we will break until 2 o'clock, at which time we'll pick cross-examination back up here in the courtroom. You do your lunch. And please remember, rules and bill.
Okay, as they go to break, man, trying to understand. I'm not. The car goes back and forth 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times they just zip back and forth while people are throwing things at it. Janet, let's see. Would you give a quick update on about what the fight was about? Alcohol, being a party, whether or not you're supposed to be there or not. I'm more confused now than ever. I had to step away just for a minute. We're waiting. I'm trying to figure out when, particularly with this witness. This is the guy who said he's got a knife. He said he's got a knife. And that was before Jimmy got stabbed, but after 3 other people were stabbed. But his initial report was that he watched the fight and he watched Jimmy because he had a knife, even though he hadn't seen he had a knife. And he thought Jimmy went to the car and got the knife and brought it back. And then, or he thought Raul went to the car, got the knife and came back and stabbed Jimmy. As I say, he watched Jimmy. He watched Raul because Raul had a knife. And then he thought that Raul went to the car, got the knife and came back. 3 people had already been stabbed by that point, including his brother. And then Jimmy gets stabbed. That's the first time he says he sees the knife, but he's told people before then he's got a knife. It's a little confusing. It might have been that he misspoke, and hopefully he gets it cleared up. The prosecution sure didn't clear it up yet. I know the prosecution tried to get ahead of some of his story inconsistencies by showing the video and trying to say, and this is when you're talking about this, and that. But he initially, Charlie remembers that Tyler Da Silva and Raul were both out on the street. And the fight had ended, and everyone's like, just leave, just leave, just leave. And that's when he was coming back from the car and stabs Jimmy. But when we pan back, Tyler Da Silva's still on the ground getting his butt whooped at that point. So there's some inconsistencies here. There's some things he says he sees really well and remembers clearly. Others, I'm just not sure. And the back and forth with the car 3 or 4 times while everyone's just throwing bottles or cans. Not sure. This is a little break. This is a lunch break. We get an hour of lunch break, which means we're going to pick this back up at 2 o'clock. But let's see, I will make I think we're going to come back about 1:50. How about that? 1:50. Okay, we will portal over to the next one. This is the final witness for the prosecution. After this, we're going to hear from the defense, and I think we need to hear from Raul, and possibly first. If he's going to get up and testify, I think we need to hear from him right off the bat. Raul has a version of events that he needs to share, and it needs to go all the way through, starting with arriving at the first party and putting on the helmet and the neck brace, neck pillow or whatever, and the garage incident, the altercation over the Bud Light, the fight there, the headbutt, whether he swung the helmet or headbutted. how he went from there, how they got added to the group chat. What were the conversations back and forth? Maybe the text messages can come in through Raul. I don't know. I don't think they probably can. I don't know. It's just, should a 16-year-old be tried as an adult? There are two thoughts on this one. First is that no 16-year-old has an adult brain, and their decision-making capabilities have not developed fully. They can't process outcomes and results and natural consequences like an adult can, and they would say no. And others would say, well, they sure processed how to commit the crime like an adult. You do the crime, you do the time. Every state gets to set their own laws on this. And in Connecticut says 16, 17, you commit an adult crime, you get charged as an adult. I have a hard time with throwing away somebody's life over a stupid decision. But we've already lost one life, and you can't bring that one back. And there has to be something. I mean, yeah. Look at the alternative. You say, okay, you charge him as a juvenile, and you say, oh, you're just a kid. We're going to sentence you, and then as soon as you turn adult, we're going to let you out. The alternative is you spend 5 years in jail for murder, and then you're out, right? That doesn't seem right either on this. Yeah. Many of the kids were really young. The thing is, I realize this is like cultural and everything else, but the problem didn't begin with a fight over the beer or with, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Who invited you to this party? The problem is the drinking. When you introduce the drinking at that age where they're not able to make good decisions and either encourage, endorse, or allow that type of behavior, you're going to have kids who don't have the whole cortex development thing in place. You're going to have them making bad decisions like this. I think the solution has got to be a step or two back before, hey, if you ever get in a fight, when at one of these parties, just realize, don't overdo it on the self-defense thing. It needs to be fixed at a more fundamental level than that. I'm probably in the family. But, all right, we have a portal set up, so we're going to portal us over. As you can imagine, Greeners has already won the portal. He already won the trying to collect points, because being first in chat does, in fact, give you a nice little bump in the point standings. So we have points turned on. I'm not sure how we're going to use them eventually, or if we will going forward, but we reset everybody today. So if somebody was way out in the lead before, I fixed it. Mods no longer get massive bonuses just for existing. They get, all my thanks and everything else, but we're not going to. They get 1 point a day for being a mod. That's basically more than we pay them. That's they barely get a thank you at this point. But thank you very much, mods, for that. We don't want the mods to automatically win everything. Bite Me gifted a membership. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that generosity. Looking at a couple other things. Let's go back. Where were we? Let's see. We had Trixie Biscuits. Woody won, or Woody Jr. Sending my love on my late mother's behalf. Thank you for that. I appreciate that awesome thought and for including that in letting us know. Woody, thank you. Thank you. Virginia Little, I keep missing the explanation about the points. Do we win something? Basically, at some point we might do a contest, and it would be a way to reward people who are here a lot, who participate heavily on the channel. That might be an option. I don't like it exclusively for that, because it does reward people who are able to super chat more than someone who's just here day in and day out. And so I don't think we'd use it for a contest for giveaways or something like that, but we might try to do something fun with it down the road, just on the side. I'm not sure. Sylphidia. Sylphidia. I don't know how to say that. You don't have a cat. The cat has a human. This is correct. Melpoy, 17 months. Love it here. And Greeners needs to be excluded from extra point first in chats. I can manually correct someone's points, but Greeners is earning it here. Lois Cox, hoping to beat Greeners in points. Thank you. Kelly says the only chance to beat Greeners right here. And Melpoy, down with Greeners. I want to show that Greeners too, says Greeners. Greeners just defeated the what happened here. It's really funny watching this all roll in. DSN, thank you very much for 28 months. Also, DSN gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Allison Currington finally pointing out the McGrath similar clothing to the one who might have been fighting. Yes, a couple guys wearing the same thing. That could be a factor. I don't know if they're going to go that way with the defense. We should hear that soon. Amy Manti, member for 24 months. You hit the 2-year mark. I think it's been longer, back when Chad only had 300 people. Jenny Harris, question, was the mother who lived at the house home when the party was going on? She was away. She wasn't charged. The other mother, I believe they were. They provided alcohol, if I remember correctly. Kiki's Garden also hits the 24 months. Thank you, both OGs. Rihanna gifted 10 memberships right as we were getting back from the previous break. Then Out and About with Di, member for 22 months. Thank you, OG. AWOL Podcast, 15 months. I think you've been here longer. The Cheer Bowl Lady, welcome to the gallery. Welcome. Bite Me, gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Rebecca. I Am Captivating, member for 27 months. Says shout out to the OGs. We love it here. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. We're close to wrapping up just for lunch. We only get about 45 minutes for lunch. So Uber something, or Uber Eats or something, DoorDash it, or start making your sandwich now, because it's going to be a quick one. We're going to be back. The state should rest this afternoon. I expect it before the end of the day. I just don't see this witness is going to be that long. It's possible it could go into tomorrow, but I really think the state's going to rest, and we get a peek possibly into the first witness for the prosecution, and I think they will call witnesses. I think they have to, and Raul has to be one of them. Dumb young kids. This is really a nightmare. It is for everyone involved, families, victims, everybody. Let's see. The witness was on the stand. Charlie is wearing the bracelets, the team color of Jimmy McGrath, the red and white. And I know there were also bracelets that were given out, a sky blue bracelet as well, that was in memory of Jimmy, and I think that was associated with the foundation in some way that his parents have set up in his memory. But I think this is the first witness I've seen wearing the school colors bracelets. Hey, little Ari. Do members earn points at a greater rate than non-members? Yeah. Being a member, and I think each month being a member gives you some points, but it doesn't show me the score sheet. I don't get like the whole score sheet. So being a member does give points. Just being a subscriber gives points. Just being first in chat or chatting, participation gives points. Super chats, super stickers, and membership milestones. I think even liking the stream gives points. So that would be good. All right. It's right now, just know the points are pointless. But it's a lot of fun to track where we are. How do you see your points? Exclamation point points. And they don't update perfectly. Sometimes it takes a bit to reprocess. But that's the command that should show you your points, and it will also show the total number of people that are involved in the point system. So we're up to about 684 right now. So it only tracks the top 50 or greater than 50. But you'll see the points going up slowly for various things. I just like the whole point thing. I know a couple of people a lot of people have asked about, how can I see how long I've been here or something like that? And I don't have a lot of control over showing that part of the channel. But this is one way we can sort of get it working. We'll see if it works. It might not be around forever, but all right. This is the idea, Wogger. A bigger person could and probably would overpower you and take the weapon from you in many circumstances. This is why guards in prisons usually have very little by way of weaponry, because there's like 100% chance there's somebody else in the prison who doesn't like you, who is better at using the weapon than you are, and can probably disarm you. So, all right. With that, we're going to go to lunch. If I can find the music, there it is. I need to figure out where the gamble function is. Where is that at? Let you gamble your points. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe. We go live again at 1:50, which is in about 40 minutes from now, 42 minutes. How many points for a timeout? Yeah. I'll let you buy back in. Is that what we need? All right. You guys are amazing. We're going to go live after lunch. Please be here. First in chat was Greeners. Unfortunately, that's already out of the way, but you can make the portal jump right now and continue this conversation in chat. We'll be back in about 40 minutes to watch the video. That's going to continue right here as we follow court as it proceeds through the last day, the last witness. We're on the cross-examination of the last witness of the prosecution's case. So the end is near here for that. So anybody else do the chair dance to this music? Oh, yeah. We all do it. All right, guys, we'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.